why is it that like at this point in our lives we can never have like good dreams? I feel like I never have any good dreams anymore.
I have good dreams every now and then.
Oh yeah.
You can remember. Sometimes I feel like I can't remember a whole dream, but I can just remember like almost just like a scene or just like a picture from a dream, and it's like I know. I don't know if I can do that with bad dreams, but I can do that with good dreams, and I can't really describe it. But it's like I can like remember the dream, and sometimes they're even recurring. Like it'll be like I'll have a dream, and it's like a good dream, and it's like wow, that was a good dream. I don't really remember it that well, but I know that was a good one. And then it'll like either continue or it'll be like the sequel to the dream or whatever, and it'll be like different, but still like have that same kind of vibe. And those are the best. And it's not even like anything necessarily good happens in the dream. It's just like I don't even know. It's like a vibe, yeah,
dream.
feeling. Yeah.
You ever have dreams that like
Reoccur?
reoccur meaning but like massive time lapse, like you haven't had that dream since you were in like middle school or something.
I've had a
Have it again.
recurring dream probably about like 15 times in my life, and it's been happening since I was like 10.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I once in a while I will have it again, and it's the same thing. I'm all alone in my house, and it's kind of dark outside, and there's like a mist like 3 feet high all around my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk outside, and I'm walking around my house like looking for everybody, and no one's there, and like there's no one, and it's just like this mist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird, and I'll have it like every so often, all the time. And I don't know if it's like a psychological thing of like if you experience something weird like that when you're younger and you just keep having that dream in your head. I don't know. It always happens once in a while. It's very weird. I can't really explain it.
This is the part where we turn to the brain expert, and he starts telling us about our inner thoughts and why we have our inner thoughts. But unfortunately, we don't have that.
We're not at that level yet.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Ooh.
Like to have like a doctor here, just like
Someone
that's the
from our
topic we're
grade
talking
has
about. It's like why do I keep having this recurring dream of me being in Egypt watching a parade? Like, no, that's a true
fix
story.
me.
You don't have that dream. Bullshit.
No, I absolutely. I'm like standing on like
in Egypt.
I mean, like it's a sphinx. There's it's like a
Desert.
there's,
You are?
yeah.
In your dream?
In my I have had a dream. Maybe
It's like that movie Jumper, where the guy can
Mhm.
jump from place. He was on a Sphinx or whatever.
you mean
in the
kind of
movie.
like how what was it? Who was doing it? Was it SpongeBob that was jumping dream to dream in
No, Jumper just goes place to place, but
No, but he's saying
SpongeBob
they do
one.
that in SpongeBob also.
like
well, SpongeBob he goes dream to dream. He goes like from one person's dream to another person's dream.
yeah.
He
and,
does do that. That's
and at
right.
the end of the episode, he's like SpongeBob,
No,
stay out of our dreams.
Patrick's in there on a
On the horse or the
and he
seahorse.
needs a
Mhm.
quarter to
Yeah,
fuel it.
that's right.
That's it.
Patrick, what are you doing? But like, and then Mr. Krabs is on the boat in the storm, like rocking, and he's like trying to catch like a giant dollar bill in the storm.
Oh yeah, isn't the Jaws is the clam?
Yeah, maybe it
The
was
giant clam, and he
he
opens the doors and has the orchestra playing the violins.
Yeah. So wait, maybe there was a giant. He's trying to catch a giant clam, and he's using a dollar bill as like
As
the
bait.
No, I think the clam has money in it.
It's got.
Oh, he's trying to get the clam's pearl. I think that's what it was.
Let me
The
see.
pearl inside the clam.
I thought there was like a giant dollar bill in it or something like that, but I could be totally wrong.
I think it was a pearl. I think it was a pearl. He was trying to get steal the pearl.
Yeah, he's got the dollar bill
From
on
the,
the line. No, yeah, he was catching a dollar bill, and the dollar bill starts spitting out coins, like,
Mhm.
and like that's what he's trying to catch. I guess
Ah.
I don't know. There's not a little tiny boat. Don't worry, Captain. We'll buff out those scratches.
Jumper was an alright movie. I think that had,
I don't even know if I've seen Jumper.
Samuel Jackson was in it,
Yeah.
and the guy who played Anakin in Star Wars.
Oh, Hayden Christensen.
Wow.
Yeah. Hayden Christensen, yeah. What's his name was trying to catch him.
It's 2008, so this is like right after a few years after Star Wars, 3 years after
Yeah.
the last Star Wars, at least.
Yeah, probably
What,
right
Jumper?
before the.
Well, Jumper was 08, and Star Wars Episode 3 was 2005.
Jumper was 08? Oh my god.
Yeah, see, 2008 feels like yesterday, but it's actually
Not
12 years
at all.
well, 2008 we're in 8th grade.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
7th or 8th
Does
grade.
8th grade feel like yesterday?
I don't know.
I can remember 8th grade pretty vividly.
8th grade feels like a long time ago, but the year 2008 doesn't feel that long ago.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
But still, like, I think what's really cool about movies right now is that if you watch a movie from the 70s and you compare it to a movie in like 2000, that's a bad example. How about like 1980 and 2000, right? Like big difference in video quality, sound quality, all that. You compare a movie from 2000 to 2020, like they're,
It's a lot more computer generated, a lot more CGI, a lot more.
but I feel like it's like the quality of movies in terms of picture quality and even sound, maybe it's not necessarily exponentially growing. Like it's almost like plateauing a little bit.
I don't think it's that big a difference. Like if you watch a good movie from the 70s, watch The Godfather. I'm thinking of Taxi Driver. It's like the video quality isn't necessarily.
It's not
that
filmed
big
on
an
like
issue.
4K cameras or anything.
Well,
like that.
what about a movie like Avatar,
It's
for
the-
example? Like Avatar was ahead of its time in 2009, but that was 11 years ago. You go 11 years before 2009, they can't even imagine having movies that good.
You know what's funny? 11 years before 2009, James Cameron made Titanic.
But that didn't. That at least
He
visually.
used
was
really
not
good
nearly as
effects
good, I guess.
and like you try to use as minimal like CGI as possible because too much like what episode 4, 5, 6
For what?
Star Wars
Oh yeah.
garbage. So much.
But for the
CGI.
time, it was crazy.
You think so?
Well,
I don't remember
yeah.
watching it during the time.
You're
I guess
talking
so.
about
You're
during
right.
the
But but you're saying like the ones from the 70s and 80s, like 77, 80, and 83.
No,
You're
episode-
talking. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Well.
Oh
like,
yeah, episode. Sorry,
Episodes
episodes 1,
one-
2, and 3.
Yeah. I mean, the original 3, the prequel. I mean, those were like I was literally watching the documentary on Disney Plus.
It was all green screen they were walking on. The whole thing.
In the next episodes 1, 2, and 3, I think they are.
Yeah, they were just
In 5,
like
4, 5, and
nothing was
6.
real except the people.
Well, 4, 5, and 6, a lot of models.
That's
a
the
lot of-
crazy part to me.
That's I
It
wish
looks
they.
amazing. It
I
really
wish
does.
with the CGI or
No, the non CGI
Oh,
in 4, 5,
the
6.
OG.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 70s, 80s ones. I wish they did them like that in episode 1, 2, and 3.
They probably and 20 years later, he definitely could have had a significantly better product. And for 1980, like everything looked insane. It doesn't look like it's a model. It looks like
Yeah,
CGI.
and even watching the old Star Wars, like, and I think they kind of replicated this in the newer Star Wars, for anyone who watches Star Wars. But I think they started using more puppets and like costumes, physical costumes, and like the newer ones.
Yeah.
Like Rogue One and like the new couple last Star Wars. Because like when you watch the older ones, made in the 70s, like I like that feel of like I know it's a costume, but like that's
It's
the
still a
Star
person.
Wars aura.
Yeah.
Like I like that about it.
What's the dude's name with the big floppy ears?
Oh, Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar
Jar Jar
Binks.
Binks. Is that a costume?
No, it's all
That
CGI.
was all CGI.
It's all CGI.
Yeah.
But
Jabba-
somebody
Jabba was
had to
all
wear
CGI.
like a green suit.
Probably.
Yeah. Probably. I think like he puts like a headpiece to emulate. I mean, that just
The height,
See,
yeah.
the height, so they look up.
Yeah,
They're
no, take a
looking
look
at-
at this.
Jar Jar, whatever his height is.
Actually, I can't even really
It's
show
fine.
you that easily.
He's got a little
Oh, that's
he's
ridiculous.
got a
Yeah.
helmet with the head on it.
Exactly. It's almost like, do you even need that part of it? He just looks. It's probably because
That's
he
what
has
they
like
did
a
for
long neck.
Thanos in the Avengers. They had
Yeah.
Josh Brolin with like a double head like 10 feet above his because Thanos is like 16 feet tall or whatever. Nah, he's probably like
Well, I
8
thought.
feet.
Well, Josh Brolin had like the suit almost like they do for the video games, right? Like the NHL video games, they have like the little lights
he hit
all
the
over
dots,
them. The dots.
and
yeah,
then he
yeah.
had, I think it was him, maybe it was a stunt double, had like a head on top of
like
his,
super high. Yeah.
like. With
well, that was
beams
to simulate the
supporting
height,
it.
I guess, right?
So like when the actors are fighting him, they look up at the head height.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not looking at his torso, or when
not
they're
look-
talking to
They're
him.
not
or
looking
whatever.
at Josh Brolin's eyes. They're looking at Thanos'
Exactly.
eyes. Yeah.
That's what they do.
Is
for him.
Josh Brolin the protagonist from No Country for Old Men?
Yeah, great movie.
Great.
I gotta watch
movie.
that movie.
Great movie. You never seen that?
Javier Bardem though. Javier Bardem kicked
Yeah,
some,
he's scary,
some
man.
ass.
That's.
It's a
I
great
think that
movie.
was like the Oscar for 2008.
Was that a
was
true
try-
story or no?
No, there's no way. I was trying to find that the other day, like to watch.
It does say based on a true story, doesn't it? At one point.
No,
Oh,
no
2007.
way.
Well, how
I
many
could be
movies
wrong,
should say
but-
that and it's not
Just
actually a
type
true
in
story?
based on a true story afterwards. Yeah, I don't know.
You heard someone say that?
No, I
You-
thought
you
it might
just
be
think.
in the.
No, it's not a true story.
Yeah, it's a novel
Oh.
based on a novel.
2005 novel, Cormac McCarthy.
Anyway, we were gonna talk about this topic, and it's the question of is it possible to like movies and also know that they are bad?
So give me an example
Absolutely.
of a bad movie that you like.
Like,
The first,
for instance, like I could give
Star Wars.
you
1, 2, 3.
yeah. Like
Oh,
Will fucking
I
loves
don't
Star
like those
Wars.
movies.
Well, I mean, and that's why
I
him
kind of
personally-
do.
they're
he-
bad movies, but personally, people can like them.
Like I could say this, ready? Like what's the Captain Jack Sparrow movies?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. First one, great.
Second one,
I
decent.
love the story of pirates going to find the treasure or solving the curse or doing adventures or whatever like that. I will watch the rest of them, but I know that from first on, they all weren't very good.
But the first one, it's like you get introduced to Captain Jack Sparrow, and he's like a character
First
that
one's
like
a
everyone
classic,
loves.
really good
So
story.
it's like once you're introduced to him, then it's like, I don't know, that takes away some of the.
No, but this is what they did actually for that movie. He wasn't the main character in the first movie. It was Elizabeth.
Or no,
Swan.
that was William. The
It was
Yeah,
Orlando.
whatever.
It was kind of like
Orlando
Orlando.
Bloom.
It was kind of like
Yeah.
her. She was the main character. The girl.
yeah,
What's her name?
all three of them. Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley was the main character, and Jack Sparrow and Orlando Bloom were kind of like the secondary guys, and that's why it was really good because Jack Sparrow was the secondary character. He wasn't the main character. In the
And
next
so
movies, he was the complete main.
So you're saying that dragged down the quality of it, by making
It took
him the
it took
character.
away a little bit. Like I love him.
I never
Like I
realized
want
that. Wow.
more of him. I love his character in it, but like it's kind of like overpowering, like too much of him. Like he's just a side guy, kind of doing his thing.
Slightly more side guy. He's still like
Slightly
pretty much
more
a main
side
character.
guy. Yeah, he's one of the top 3, but Pirates of the Caribbean.
I like all those movies.
But you're
Um,
saying Pirates of the Caribbean is a topic of they're bad movies, but you can like it. Is
The
that
The
what
later
you're-
first
ones.
one's great, but like
Second
like
one's
another
not
one's
bad.
like like the
Man's
movie the movie Alien
Yeah.
and Predator.
Yeah, you talk about them.
Like those first 2 movies,
Yeah.
great. Aliens 2, great. Aliens 3, all right. But when they started like Predator 2, like I'll watch it. I like it because I like the Predator.
Mhm.
I like those movies, but like I know the Predator 2 is terrible.
movie.
It's just
You know,
awful.
not to interrupt, but like Pirates of the Caribbean, literally perfectly decreasing in Rotten Tomatoes scores as you go on in the series.
Yeah.
79,
this is more about
53,
money.
44.
It starts with a
33, 30.
79?
It starts with a 79. I feel like that should be like an 80, 85.
Yeah.
I'd definitely put it over 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, thought
I
it was
would
great.
I would put Dead Man's Chest higher than 53 personally.
Is that the second one?
I like the fourth one. You know the,
The
fourth
second
one
one's with
that has
David
like nothing to
Jones?
do with the
Stranger
other
Tides.
ones. Stranger Tides. I like that one. What's that got?
33.
Oh my god, I like that one.
Dude, the
Damn.
newest one with Javier Bardem, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
That was terrible.
30%.
I watched that.
I didn't see
that
it.
was.
I don't-
I like
I
to
don't know if I
watch
know
it.
that one.
I like to watch it, like, cause I like that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was fucking bad. It was so bad.
At that point, it's just too fantastic.
The story was terrible. It was just
Random. You remember the Hercules movie with The Rock?
Yes.
Was it Hercules or was
that
it?
was terrible.
No, Scorpion King. You talking about Scorpion King?
No,
no,
I'm
no,
talking
no,
about
no. They
Hercules.
made a
I'm talking
movie
about-
with what's the name?
The Rock.
The Rock
What's
as
his name?
Hercules. Yeah, the Rock, the Pebble. Yeah, as Hercules.
Terrible.
I
It was
watched
like
it.
such a bad movie.
I was hyped for it because he looked
Yeah,
pretty
it looked
good.
When did
like-
it come out?
Dude,
Recently?
No,
But then
it was
again, like
probably
he's
5,
not
6
like
years ago.
a
5
great
years ago.
actor. Like he's just.
Honestly, I don't like The Rock movies. Like, what do you think is your favorite The Rock movie? Scorpion King? Wait. Oh yes. Wait, is it Scorpion? Yeah, Scorpion King. That's probably my favorite The Rock movie.
I haven't.
I don't even think he's in Scorpion King
Of
2.
the movies I've seen with him in it, I don't even know if I
No,
like
he
any
is
of
in
them
the
that
Scorpion
much.
King.
Is it Scorpion King 3? I remember watching this one movie up at Binghamton that was so bad. I think it was literally. I think it was
digitally a part of the Scorpion.
no. Well,
CGI?
that's Mummy Returns.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking
He
about
was in that
Scorpion
movie?
King 3. I think.
So wait, ready? I heard Jumanji wasn't that bad. I heard it was actually solid.
Yeah,
I saw a part
I
of
would
it.
never
wasn't
watch
bad.
it. So he's in Hobbs and Shaw, which I'm sure was terrible.
skipped all these.
San Andreas, probably bad. Rampage, bad. Baywatch, bad.
You've seen all these?
I've seen this. I've seen them, and I've seen the scores to them. Skyscraper, I heard was bad. Fast and Furious, can those really be that great? The eighth, ninth, that got 67%. Jesus,
Mo-
wait.
didn't-
Scroll down.
Didn't Moana do well?
No.
that's not bad.
Moana. Oh, he's in Moana.
Yeah, that one got
Oh,
96 around.
well, yeah, no, I can't really. You can't say that's a Rock.
Oh,
movie.
come on. He's got a great voice.
He's in all the Fast movies. Pain and Gain was funny, but he's not the main. We're talking about main character.
Click Scorpion King.
We'll talk about main character in a movie.
I like that movie. What'd that get?
40.
Wow.
That movie's bad, dude.
I like that movie.
Yeah, great.
I don't know why that's a bad movie though. Like I don't
Oh,
understand.
you think it's good?
I think that's a pretty decent. I mean, it was in 2002. I haven't
I
seen
don't
it in
know.
a
If you
little while.
rewatch it, the story's not that great.
Wait,
But I love to
he's
watch
playing,
it.
He's playing
Really?
Black Adam, right?
Yeah.
Type in Scorpion King 3. Just type in a 3 up there. I think this was literally the worst movie. Scroll down.
First one was.
Oh,
wasn't
what's his
that
name
bad.
from Sons of Anarchy? He's in it.
Give me
Ron
the
Perlman.
Rotten Tomato.
Dave Bautista.
Give me the Rotten Tomato.
Batista.
I didn't get a Rotten Tomatoes.
It's
It
so
didn't
bad,
even
dude.
Get a Rotten Tomatoes score.
Literally, I remember a part in this movie. It's not really a spoiler.
He must have so much money. He's on so many movies.
You know in the Scorpion King where like
So
whatever
bad
one like
movies.
leader of one tribe has to like basically bribe the Scorpion King as an assassin to
Yeah.
like go kill somebody else.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
bribe in this movie, literally, it's like you think it's gonna be jewels, it's gonna be the rubies, whatever. It's like they have like a big thing covered in a sheet, and you're like, is that a fucking painting? And they take off the sheet, and it's literally like a Picasso painting, and that's the bribe. This is like fucking the year 0. You know what I'm talking about? This is
Yeah.
They don't
2,000 years
care.
ago.
You're telling me.
And the
paintings
bribe
are-
was
yeah.
a fucking Picasso painting. Like
Yeah,
it literally,
that's kind of insane.
it was out, and it was like the only thing like that. Like nothing else in the movie like had any like it was just there.
It's
just-
like people paint.
He's just in a lot of big title budget like.
Oh, he's like
movies
the
for,
highest paid actor in the world.
Dude, he's in like
Yeah.
3 movies.
It's
a
like
year.
him and Kevin Hart are literally the highest paid actors in the
Yeah.
world.
They're
Yeah.
literally in like 3 different movies.
Well,
together.
I mean, you're saying on a yearly average, you're saying on a movie average.
Yearly average.
Because I mean,
They
like,
put out a lot of
I
movies.
feel like Leonardo DiCaprio would be more per movie, but
if
maybe not
Fast
per
and
year.
Furious
he's definitely a
10,
better
like,
actor. I don't
here's-
know.
Oh, he's a way better actor.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it would cost more to get
Pay-
him for one movie than it would be to get. The
I
Rock
wonder
for one
if
movie.
like the time like if they project how long it's going to take to film, if they like take that into account when they're paying the actor. Like when they pay Leonardo DiCaprio, they say we're going to need you on set for 3 months, or you know you're going to have to film 30 days or however many days he's going to have to film. They take that into account, and then like when it goes over that, is he getting paid like per day? Is he getting paid one
I don't know.
sum? What happens if like a movie goes way over budget, way longer than they mean to? It's like, does he get paid way more? Does he
There's-
get screwed?
It's got to be in the contract because it's got to be like, you know what, like as long as you're
could
not
be
the
just-
one holding
you
us
have to
up,
finish-
we're still gonna pay you if it goes over budget. But like, cause that's over budget. What does
They're
over
they're
budget
probably
mean?
gonna-
You're probably just paying your actors for a longer period of time.
Yeah,
than you're
in
supposed
the
to.
contract they probably have a set period of time, and they say if it goes past that, then we'll start paying you
It's really
monthly or
interesting.
weekly or something like that.
It's definitely not cut and dry too. Like
I
there's
wonder if-
definitely some BS behind the scenes.
Well, have you ever heard of? I've probably mentioned this before. Hollywood accounting. It's literally a term that's used specifically for Hollywood in like the way they account for movies, because every single movie that's made in Hollywood and
Yeah.
probably elsewhere is made to lose money. It's made like so that Avatar, for example, maybe a bad example because it supposedly took like a ridiculous amount of money in 2009 to make that with all the CGI.
Yeah.
But like stuff like that makes like $1 billion fucking dollars in the box office still loses money.
Did it really?
Like because that's how they
Avatar did?
account for it. It's like they say, I don't know exactly what they do, but it's basically just fraudulent.
Yeah.
And it's just like how they account for fucking movie making. It's like they just
Wait, so are you saying they net lost money? Or are you talking about just the
type
system?
in Hollywood accounting.
Hollywood accounting. Here, what you looked at? It.
Budget $250 million.
They had a budget of 237 million, and they made
Box office
box
2.8
office
million.
wise
Oh, wow.
2.8 billion.
It says the opaque or creative accounting methods used by the film, video, and television industry to budget and record profits for film projects. Expenditures can be inflated to reduce or eliminate the reported profit of the project. Yeah, so you're basically saying I paid this guy $5 million when you actually only paid him like $1 million.
So I don't know how they do that though. It's like
Well, I mean, you know, you just,
Wait,
you
you're
just,
talking about for the
you just
actor?
take you
the-
probably
well, I don't know
like
if it's the actor or the
no,
character
it's
or the
probably more
fucking
so the
equipment.
No, I was gonna say like the studio, like Fox Studios or something like that. Like they probably don't get taxed as much. You know, if they say they spent this much on their actors and this much on their equipment, and they only made this much money,
They can
corporate
tax us.
taxes are not going to be as high. I would assume something like that. But like
So, but yes, so someone could be paying for it on the side on their own
What are you saying?
that's interesting
instead of like
too.
like someone like the director. Like if it's
That's what George Lucas did for.
like if it's by James Cameron, he'd
episode
be paying
5.
for his own and then get his own budget
Yeah.
that gets paid for.
Well,
You-
how James Cameron's not paying 237 million.
No, not that much, but like whatever the extra, like their budget in total. I mean, over what their budget based on what they spent could have been. What do you think? Maybe like 300 million.
What are you asking?
You think their budget could have been 300 million? Like, you think they spent more than 237 million?
Well, based
Which
on
was their
Hollywood
budget.
accounting, they should have spent less than that, and then they said it was that. So they spent 200, and they said
Oh.
it was 237. So then, well, ultimately, it doesn't matter if you got 2.8 billion.
But why would they do that?
Because then you're saying like, all right, instead of like saying you spent 50 million and you made 100 million,
Yeah.
you're saying you spent 100 million and you made 100 million. You didn't get any profit, so you don't have to pay any tax.
Oh.
Yeah. Whereas
Oh.
otherwise, you have to pay tax on 50 million.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, but guys,
but
in
where
the end,
where it
they
ultimately
made
screws a lot of people.
2.8 billion. It really doesn't
I
matter.
remember, I think it's literally on that Wikipedia page for Hollywood accounting. Like at the bottom, they have like some examples of like lawsuits.
Yeah.
I forget which movie it was, but I remember reading about this where it was like
Wow.
they literally fucking, I don't know, they made a contract with like the writers or whoever wrote the book or whatever the deal was, and they had to give a certain percentage to them. So they give them, whatever, 10% of the profits,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then it's like, okay, there's no profits, you make zero money. This guy gets screwed.
That's exactly what they're saying.
Were you reading that?
There's numerous lawsuits like ongoing because it says like, for an example, Michael Moore sued Bob and Harvey Weinstein for creative accounting to deprive him of his share of profits, which were supposed to be a certain percentage. Yeah, it's like you said, the movie actually makes $10 million in profit. They say that it only made $5 million in profit, so you're getting half the money you should.
That you should, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And Harvey
So
Weinstein.
wait, ready? Guess what
Not
Avengers?
surprised with that
Well,
one.
guess what Avengers Endgame budget was?
The budget, I
Yeah.
think it was like 275 million, 250 million, something like that.
356,
Jesus crap.
What's the highest?
and
What's
they
the
made
most?
2.8. So they made the same as Avatar.
But I mean,
Well,
it's not that big a
allegedly.
difference. Yeah, I don't know if you trust any of this. What did Avatar 2 make?
It's
Avatar
not even out
hasn't
yet.
come out yet.
Oh, hasn't even. I was
It
gonna
just
say I don't
said-
remember
Dude,
this.
Avatar
It
2
just said their
gonna
budget
break
was
the
250.
record.
13 million higher than Avatar 1.
Yeah,
Speaking
but less than Avengers Endgame.
So they made the same amount as Endgame. movie
speaking
from
of
2009.
2,
So that's
do you guys
insane.
do you guys know a movie or movies where the
2002?
second one is better than the first one?
Yes.
Yes, I know plenty.
I think they can be iffy, but I think Aliens, which is the sequel to Alien, for all those Alien fanatics out there, I think Aliens 2 is better. Or Aliens.
I think with
is what it's
animated
called.
movies, sometimes you can get that too,
Animated 2. I watched Frozen 1 and 2.
and they're both
I didn't
garbage.
think. Well, I'm not. I don't really like singing Disney movies like that. But I thought Frozen 2 is better than Frozen 1. Obviously, it didn't have a hit song like "Let It Go," I guess.
I
But
gotta put this down, Will. I'm gonna do it as carefully as possible.
Yeah, you better. We're working on
bang.
we're working on small budget right here, Noah. Our mics are not made to withstand the
Just need to
power
get
of
a
a
table
mug.
made out of rubber to
All
absorb.
right, let me
any-
see. What do you think
shock.
the Rotten Tomato for Godfather is? The original.
Oh, it's like 99.
For Godfather, the original.
Yeah, I think it's like a 1. Oh, no, but the second one's higher. The second one's higher.
It's 98
Yeah.
for the original.
This is not a movie
the
podcast.
second-
The
by
second
way.
I think might be 100.
97.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting because I think the second one is generally better liked than the first one.
I think that's right.
But
I mean, they're both ridiculous.
Terminator 2 is good too, but Terminator 1 was so original.
Yeah, you can't be 1.
It might have been the Rotten Tomatoes score.
I don't know.
Actually,
I think,
no.
I think 3 was better than 1 where he's holding the coffin, blocking the bullets in the graveyard.
No, it's-
No, I'm just kidding.
Terminator 1 has the Terminator has 100% Rotten
wow.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I thought isn't Back to the Future the second one pretty good
No
too?
chance. Those things don't even break 70.
The first one has 96.
96, dude.
Wait, were you joking? Were you sarcastic?
I'll say I was being sarcastic. But
Oh, okay. The second one is 65. Okay, so
But
don't
what's the third one like?
I
I
kind of
love
like
Back
the
to
third
Future.
one.
I was gonna bring up Back to the Future in the topic.
80.
of
80.
bad
All right,
movies
so
that
the
you like.
third
Third one
one
was
beats
better
the
than the
second
second
one.
The third
but
one
the
is good.
first
the second
one was almost at 100. So
The
second
second
one
one's
was iffy.
dark. The
Was
second
iffy.
one's just dark. And
Well, yeah,
like
because the
that.
future's run by Biff. It's
Yeah.
run by a Biff who finds like the bookie book, right? It's like the.
Yeah, and he,
The
just,
record
he
books.
knows
The
all the
record
bets to
books.
He
make,
knows
and
all
he just
the,
wins all that money.
How does he get that shit?
someone gives it to him before he goes back in time. I think someone gives
Oh,
him the
crap, I
record
don't
book
know.
with all the.
They give it to him in 55,
betting.
right?
Although
No,
he
no, no.
won
They give
every
it. They must give it
race
to him
and-
in '85.
No,
Match.
because he takes the time machine. He goes back in time with them or something like that. He goes back to the 50s.
It's the '50s.
No, to the 80s.
Oh, in the '50s he goes to the '80s and then goes back to the '50s. No, because in the Back to the Future 2 is set in 2015, so it's like 30 years into the future from 1985. So I think Biff in 1985, like when he's like washing his dad's cars, Marty's dad's cars
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, gets.
He does.
How does it work? I guess he must get the book from Marty. Marty must go to 2015, come back to 1985. Gets the book from him somehow.
And then Biff gives it to his future. Or
Well, Biff
past
uses
self.
it for the next 30 years.
Okay.
Like I think Marty is the one who accidentally gives it to Biff in 1985,
Okay.
and then he uses it.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't know.
I think.
Back to the Future.
Oh, Hellboy 2 was good.
Trash.
That might have been better.
Nah, I don't really remember the
If
Hellboys.
anyone remembers that.
All the Halloweens. I wonder. I wonder if you can just type in.
What do you mean?
Like, I wonder which ones have the best. I'm assuming the
first
original
one.
Halloween.
The first one.
Oh, but
I
they remade it as.
I think the
it's gonna
first
be
one.
so tough.
Yeah. So they made the first Halloween, and the recent one they just made, like last year.
Mhm.
That's not adding in all the ones in between.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
disregarding them.
I feel like so the original. Oh no, this is 2018. The 2018 one is really well rated. That's crazy. They literally made it.
21 one's got like an 80 or something, right?
Oh wait, never mind. It's got an 80. Yeah, but wait, what about the
pretty solid.
original?
I don't know.
Yeah, so the original Halloween has a 96.
Wow.
I thought it was kind of trash.
And they should have stopped
And
there.
then okay, this might be the
They
biggest.
should've stopped
This might be
there.
the biggest differential between 1 and 2 of any movie. The original Halloween 96, Halloween 2 28,
Oh, you know what?
and it still has Jamie Lee
You know
Curtis.
what? You know what's better than the first?
And it's directed by
At
John
least
Carpenter.
they're both really good, but this one's a little bit better. Batman Begins and then The Dark Knight with Heath
Oh,
Ledger as
absolutely.
Joker.
I
That
mean-
takes another step.
You can argue that Batman Begins is the worst of the three, but still really good.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Dark Knight Rises is probably the second best in that series.
yeah.
They've made
I was born in
The
it.
Dark Knight, yeah.
1,
Folded
2,
by-
3,
So I'm on this website
4,
and it's showing
5,
me
6.
Really good sequels. It
Huh.
says Aliens number 1. Number 2 it says The Godfather Part 2. Number 3 Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Better than the original, you're saying?
Oh, this one says Mad Max Fury Road,
I like that.
but like it was a remake.
But we
So
haven't even
it's not
seen-
really a
oh,
sequel.
I see. Yeah, no.
It's not really a
They're making a
That
second
was
one
in
of that, right?
Fury Road was in 2015.
Yeah, it's a few years ago.
I remember how
That
sick
feels
that
like it
was when we
was
saw it in
yesterday.
college.
We saw it like the day we got home from college, I think.
Yeah.
That was, what, end of sophomore year?
Toy Story 2.
Halloween 6 has 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
It's pretty-
That's more than zero.
And it has
Fantastic.
Paul Rudd in 1995.
Paul Rudd. Who even
Number
even knew
6
of him
Dark
back then?
Knight. Empire
Paul
Strikes
Rudd.
Back.
Whoever the fuck Donald Pleasance is, he must be the one who plays fucking
Mike Myers.
I guess.
I thought Mike Myers played Mike Myers.
That'd be interesting.
That would be crazy.
Imagine he takes off the mask. It was me the whole time, motherfucker.
Dude, Paul Rudd in 95 looks like... I don't know.
He doesn't look the same.
He looks like... Who the hell does he look like?
Paul Rudd.
No, he looks like someone we know. I can't even put my finger on it. I don't know. Regardless.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
They're all... I feel like all the
Indiana
Indiana
Jones
Jones are the
bangs.
same.
Yeah.
The
I feel
the
equally.
fourth one can go, but
Mm.
still the original three I think are all equal.
Imagine if Shia LaBeouf took over that franchise before he went crazy.
Oh, he's not crazy. He's crazy.
He's pretty crazy.
I mean, he was on Hot Ones like how long ago? 3 months ago or something, and like he was just kind of talking out of his ass. It sounded like, and he was just, he had the world figured out. He has problems in the past, but he's moving forward. I mean, he's a good guy, but
It kind of feels like he.
Shia LaBeouf podcast.
he
the Shia LaBeouf fan podcast.
Big Shia LaBeouf.
I mean,
fan.
once
I
he
love him in movies.
his-
What was that? Peanut Butter Falcon. Did you see that
he,
movie?
he
was
peaked
in?
in Holes. He peaked in Holes. It's,
Holes.
Yeah.
Holes was a
Heard it
banger.
recently.
What about what was it? Not Iron Man. Fucking what is it?
I Am
Spider-Man
Legend.
2.
iRobot. iRobot.
Spider-Man 2.
He was in that.
Yeah, he's an iRobot. He's like a
Oh, yeah.
side character
That's
at
pretty
best.
crazy.
Anyone? Spider-Man 2.
What about Spider-Man?
So-
I like Spider-Man's.
What's his
Tobey
name?
Maguire?
Tobey Maguire. He was the Doc Ock.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people saying like on the internet.
I can see that.
Yo,
that it was better.
Third one
Uncut
was-
Gems 2.
Shut up.
You know what?
Bangs.
Yeah, they're
Uncut
gonna
Gem-
resurrect
So
him
wait,
from
if
the
they
dead,
make
right?
if they make an Uncut Gems prequel, does that count as a sequel?
Ooh, yeah. How do we do that?
Do prequels count as second
Do
movies?
prequels count
I
as
think they do.
sequels?
I think they do because the whole
They
point
have
of
to.
making a second one is the success of the first, and you make another one, and so it doesn't matter whether that comes after or before.
In the storyline, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, there are prequels that bang. There are prequels that are awful.
They just ran out of ideas for sequels. Like, let's go before
Well,
it happens.
I mean, sometimes like you just don't want to ruin it because you had such a good ending. You're like,
Yeah.
let's end it here. Let's go in the
Like
past.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut
Like, you think there
Gems.
could have been a prequel for Uncut Gems?
You want to go
I
toe
have
to
not
they could
seen
do
it,
both.
by
You want
the
to go
way.
toe to
They could
toe
do
with
a
Uncut Gems right now? I don't want to go toe to toe.
Best movie ever.
It's not.
It kind of
Literally
like
the best
kind of
movie
just like
ever.
makes it into like a TV show. Like,
I mean, they
like,
depicted
leading up
Passover
through his
so
life.
well.
This is the perfect time to be watching Uncut Gems.
Hey, you know what? Passover was what, Wednesday?
I just think it's. Well, it already passed. It's already passed over.
I'm gonna pass over you on
This
Easter
is such an
Friday.
interesting Passover. If you think about the story of Passover and then the fucking coronavirus, like, it's like it's the year of the Passover.
Is it really?
Well, the Passover is all about like the literal
Like
term
not
of
touching?
Passover is about like the 10th plague being like the death of the firstborn, and so like the Jews put blood, like lamb's blood or something, on their doors so that God would pass over their doors and then kill all the Egyptians' firstborns. That's the
crazy.
Passover. That's the term Passover.
But
And so-
Passover is like probably the most significant holiday in the religion, right?
It's
Hanukkah?
got to be up there.
I mean,
Passover and Hanukkah.
Rosh Hashanah is not.
I don't think Rosh Hashanah. I mean, it's the New Year's, but it's like that's not.
All I know is
as
it's
far
not
as the
Hanukkah.
storyline,
No, what about
goes-
Easter?
I'd say Passover is probably the most important.
I think so. I mean, I don't know anything about Judaism, but still.
Doesn't everybody celebrate Easter?
Apparently, I don't either.
Well, name the holidays. Name the holidays.
Did
that
you
are
hear?
significant
Did you hear that they're trying to let in? They're trying to
Jews.
get this bill signed to let people
into the
go
country?
to church on Easter.
Oh, great.
Do you
How
hear
about
that?
how
I
about
think
you
it
do
was-
a video conference?
Let me see.
I mean, no. I thought Trump was trying to open the country up for Easter.
Restart the economy.
That guy's gonna get half our country killed. Just saying that.
New York.
Well,
Does New York have
I would
more
think
deaths?
if you restarted the economy, like
Yeah.
not restart the economy, if you
Restart
let
the
everybody go
country.
back to their jobs,
Yeah.
like I think you only get like maybe like 40, 50% of the people to actually go back to their jobs.
You know, I think what would be it might be out there, but no, I think a really interesting statistic right now would be to know of the 16.6 million people that have gone unemployed in the past 3 weeks, how many of them are furloughed and how many of them are literally let go.
What's furloughed just means like you.
Furlough
not getting
means you're
paid
like on a
right now.
leash. We can
Yeah.
bring it back in 3 months or something like that. So, like for example,
Probably more than
you think
not.
more furlough than let go completely?
Yeah.
Because I would agree to that because it's like if
then
you,
again, there's a lot of like smaller businesses that are gonna get fucked.
XFL.
It depends
dropped
on-
all their
Like
fucking-
XFL.
I think it
yeah,
depends
like
on the
everyone
specialization.
who is working for the XFL
It's
has
gotta
nothing.
be 1,000. Yeah, gotta be a
I-
couple thousand probably.
But yeah, like anything like that who has no financial support, like beyond that, like the NHL, like the owners can pay their staff beyond whatever they need to.
well, I mean, staff. Like, who do you consider staff? I mean, like, you can't
Everyone who
pay
works
the
at the rink.
concession people and stuff like that. Really,
Right?
Gone too far.
I think you is when they
They're,
said when they said like the owners were paying for their staff. Wasn't that considering everyone who worked at the rink? Like,
I think it was considering everybody, but I don't think that too many teams had a time frame beyond like a month or something like that.
yeah.
Like, who was it? I don't know if you saw. But
Also,
like,
was it only a time frame when they
well,
like,
like
maybe they're saying like people were like mad at GMs, like they were mad at the Sabres GMs
they're mad at the Bruins too. I
because
think.
they weren't paying their employees yet for not coming in because they couldn't work.
I think it's a time frame. I think they said
Oh, wait,
James Dolan was going to pay MSG employees through like June or something.
Like, just
like
pay
that.
him
Yeah,
out-
James Dolan, one good thing he's done.
Just pay them out until whatever it would have been the end of the regular season, like just another month,
True.
right? Because
True.
like beyond that, it's the summer. Like
Beyond
you don't
that,
need
you're
hockey's
not
over.
collecting salary anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, or NBA too. Like just pay your staff to the end of what they would have gotten. And
I think there are still year-round staffs at these arenas. I mean, not like
Yeah,
everybody,
yeah,
but
has
there
to.
has to be some like
and then
upkeep
obviously
and
your
stuff
your
like that. The
the,
front
s- the
office.
scouts, the designers, the people who are working year round.
Yeah.
That's their full time job. But yeah, but I mean, if you are staff at like a rink, like you have basketball, you have hockey, you have like some places have
Concerts.
like other concerts or like Sabres have like box lacrosse. Every so often, yeah, the concerts too. I wonder if it's the same staff that works for all of the events.
I think it is.
You
it
think
is.
so?
Yeah.
So can that be a full time? It's
Full-time
still gotta
job?
be. It's still gotta be a part time.
It's got to be like a seasonal kind of thing, I would think, right?
I don't think so.
I don't
You
know.
talk about the people that work at MSG security, the yellow people.
Jamie, get on that.
I think
Yeah.
fucking they probably because they're doing concerts and stuff year round. So it's like you're saying, is it a salary job or just like a part time?
I mean, working at MSG company.
It's got to be just like a
I don't know. Anyway, there's
per event pay.
people. There's people going to try to pass something so that they can go to church on Easter Sunday.
Great, let them.
But
At your own risk.
I don't know.
I
But
mean,
I was, know what's really cool? I was watching this video earlier today, and you know Corridor Crew.
oh yeah,
So he did this little.
Who's quarter crew?
There's this YouTube channel.
I
They
think
do
you've seen them.
VFX artists.
Yeah, they do the CGI. They analyze movies. They make their own stuff.
Anyway, if you get a chance, check them out. Pretty cool.
That's a plug right
This
there.
is not a plug. He was talking about exponential growth and how everyone is kind of surprised about how fast Corona is
virus?
spreading.
Yeah.
And he was saying,
On Corridor Crew, they're talking about this?
yeah, he was
Wow.
doing models, like 3D models for
Yeah.
you to illustrate, and, like visually, so you can see like how fast something can get to one point so quickly.
Yeah.
And he was saying, if you go to the Grand Canyon, the whole Grand Canyon,
Uh-huh.
and you start with one droplet, and you do whatever.
Doubles every day.
Excuse my inaccurate mathematical terms, but like to the power of whatever, like,
No, Dave, you're spot on, man.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get one water droplet, then you get two, then you get four, then you get 8, you get 16, 32. You keep going on. I mean 36, sorry. On and on from there. And
Well, he's just
if you
doubling
keep
it.
doing that every second,
Yeah.
I
you
think
double
it's
it every second.
Yeah.
I get it right?
Well,
8
I mean,
to 16. You
it
want
doesn't
8 to
matter.
18.
You're just doubling
What?
it. You're doubling it. You're going.
No, I said 16.
He's just assume it's exponential growth. But like, how
I
fast?
did say 18.
'Cause
Yeah,
you
I
said
said
You're
36.
saying they could fill up the Grand Canyon with water in like a month, right? It's
No,
like,
no, no,
I
no,
don't
no. It
understand.
would take an hour and 6 minutes.
If every second,
Every
it
second.
doubles.
Every
it
second,
doubles.
a water droplet
Well, that's like
doubles.
saying
doubles.
that's
Yeah,
that's like
okay.
remember in like middle school we always joke like if I give you a penny on
Right.
the first day of the month
and you
it
get
doubles.
2 pennies the next. You
Exactly.
could be a
Millionaire
billionaire by the end of the month. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah.
In an hour and 6 minutes, a droplet every second by 2, by 4, by 8, it would fill up.
In an hour 30.
It would start flooding in an hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what
You're-
they say about exponential growth. Like the last double is usually the highest. That's why
Yeah.
the chart goes straight up
Yeah.
instead of that little curve.
Yeah, I
But
mean
yeah.
it's basically you're just doing 2 to the x equals the area or the volume of the Grand Canyon. So x is
X is the
however many
log
seconds
of-
are in an hour and 30 seconds.
I
or
think
30
it's
minutes.
3,960 seconds is an hour and 6 minutes.
Damn.
Or 66 minutes.
No, that's. I mean, it's insane. I mean, that's the whole point of this stay-at-home stuff. It's just
Yeah,
that,
you
like,
gotta-
you know,
you gotta-
flatten the curve. I mean, they're right, but at the same time, like, how this could be so much worse if you're not staying at home because you know
Oh my god.
you're just trying to prevent exponential growth.
Yeah, I just saw a video that like I don't know who put it out. If it was like UK or some European country or whatever, but it was just like if everyone's like infected, where if one person's infected, it's like one girl goes on the elevator, she presses the button, she gets off, then a guy gets on the elevator, he presses the button, now he's infected, and then he goes and he hands some piece of paper to somebody, and now they're infected, and then they go and they touch the ATM machine.
It
Yeah,
would just
everyone.
like, especially if New York City, it's just everyone who gets on the train and goes home to wherever they live, like from in and out of the city.
Why do you think New York City is so much worse?
Because of how densely packed it is.
Yeah,
But
and
compare that to Tokyo, compare that to any other cities. Like, why is New York City so much worse?
I think I could look it up, but I think New York City is the most densely packed first world city in the world.
per person per square, whatever area
Square,
they use.
yeah.
How do you call that? Population density?
Population density.
You think it's per square foot or mile, or like?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter either way. Most densely populated cities in the world. Mumbai.
What if it's that city in
Manila.
South Korea from Parasite? That
Yeah.
place
You
is
can
packed.
you can argue that it's New York for two
Manhattan.
reasons.
Yeah, okay. I see Manhattan's number 8 there.
It's probably a combination of the density, the population density, as well as the travel aspect of New York. How many people come in and out of New York? How many
Yeah,
people are there
Like,
internationally?
do you think a lot
domestically?
more people or percentage of people live in the city who work in the city? You think in other countries, like
Say
other
that again?
cities, you think a higher percentage of people who work in the city and like do stuff in the city live in the city?
Then New York. New York.
Like what percentage of people who work in New York City?
Oh,
don't
it's,
live
it's
there.
massive. It's
Do you
like
think it's
there's
pretty
more
high?
more people commute to New York City on a daily basis than live in New York.
Because like you know how like it obviously, or some like whatever it started in New Rochelle or something like that. Like that was the first known case, right?
Yeah.
Like people who work in the city who live in New Rochelle get it to go to the city, and then the city's fucked. Like
Yeah.
it just exponential growth from there.
Here's a statistic on Manhattan.
Buzz.
That was the camera. It's fine. I think it's out of battery.
I think it's gonna explode.
It says the daytime population of Manhattan consists of 1.6 million commuters, 1.46 residents, 404,000 out-of-town visitors, 374,000 local day trip visitors, and then the rest is like hospital patients, 70,000 students, stuff like that. So it's basically a 55-45 commuter to resident ratio.
Yeah, and then if you're flying in, like from another country, like you're gonna stay in the city or somewhere around the city.
You know what I think is really cool? Not really cool, but like, so if I'm walking to work in the morning, and it's like 8 a.m. let's say in the morning, and I'm walking, you see like families of European people on the streets, like as tourists, and I'm thinking to myself, who in their right mind is touring New York at 8 a.m.? And I think to myself, wait, well they're European, so it's like the afternoon for them, so they're probably waking up at like 6 a.m. because it's like noon back home, probably more than that.
It also depends how old they are, because older people.
Well, it's like middle-aged families
okay.
with like young kids and stuff like that. I'm just like, I woke up like an hour.
Like
or
how
two ago.
early do your grandparents? Like, have you ever stayed in like
They get up
like
early.
a hotel or something with your grandparents or with your grandparents?
I mean, lately I think they've been sleeping in a little more, but like my grandpa used to wake up at like 6 a.m. every day in retirement.
Just for fun. They
also
get their
don't sleep
coffee.
as well,
They
though.
get their paper.
Yeah,
They sit down with their coffee and their paper, and they get their day started, and they
I mean my
just roll.
my
And I'm
grandpa's routine used to be wake up, have a tall ass bowl of cereal, drive to
What kind of
7-Eleven. He would get like bran flakes with like wheat germ and flaxseed in skim milk.
What's the really crunchy granola one? Like it just crunches. It's just that dark brown.
Honey bunches of oats.
No,
I
it's
don't
not
even
sweet
know.
at all. It's just
Garbage.
Raisin
Bran flakes.
nah. I'll find it.
We used to go skiing and stay in like condos and stuff, and I wake up with him and I'd watch him make his breakfast, and I'd be
He'd pour
amazed.
flaxseed on top of his corn.
Yeah.
Not cornflakes.
It was bran flakes. It was. I mean, like I mean, it could have been another one too, but like he'd literally pour in the bran flakes, then he would put in the flaxseed and wheat germ,
What's
and
wheat
then
germ?
wheat germ is like little tiny.
Seeds?
No, it's like it almost looks like grain or like oats, almost small oats, like chipped oats or
Wait,
something like that.
what are you talking about? Which type?
Wheat germ. My mom puts wheat germ in pancakes. Actually, apparently it adds flavor. I don't know, but either way, like he would fill his bowl up to the brim with milk, and somehow wouldn't spill a drop on the table.
He's been doing it a lot of years.
Yeah, he's been doing it a long ass time, and that's the beauty of having that kind of experience.
Here's a fun stat for you. So we're looking at the population density of cities. First of all, first 3 most densely populated cities in the world,
Middle East.
Philippines.
I thought Mumbai was number 1.
No, well, here it says Mumbai is number 5.
Oh, okay.
And Mumbai on that list is by far and away the largest. They have 20 million people. Granted, it's also pretty huge. It's 600, I'll do square miles. It's 233 square miles. Baghdad is, I don't know, I'd say it's probably roughly the size of all the 5 boroughs of New York.
Yeah.
It's got 7 million people. Baghdad is like
So it's a little less dense than New York, is what you're saying.
no, it's more dense than New York.
So it's the same size as New York land-wise.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I'm comparing it to Manhattan. Manhattan's like
Oh, Manhattan's like 1 point something.
it's 1.6, and it's only 22 square miles, 23 square miles, and Baghdad's only 79 square miles, but it's got 7 million people. I don't know. I just never thought Baghdad was that.
Oh,
fucking
when you said New
populated.
York, you meant Manhattan, not all the 5 boroughs.
Well,
combined.
if you compare the size, it's probably I figure about the size of the 5 boroughs. Like, what
if
do you
you, I mean, I hate to exclude Staten Island, but I'm going to do
Square
it. You
miles.
take Staten Island out, and New York gets even more dense because
Yeah.
Staten Island
Yeah.
is one of the
Spreads it
larger.
out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, and it's got the lowest population.
think? Okay, never mind. So yeah, if you
I think it was like Ezekiel
never
cereal.
mind. It says 300
Terrible.
square. Wow. Okay. So wait. So what's like? Give me the square miles of fucking just like Queens. Wow. Brooklyn. Huh. Brooklyn is significantly smaller than Queens.
It is. It really is.
But anyways, Baghdad is a little bit bigger than Brooklyn, and it's got 7 million people.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That is actually insane.
I've never thought, like, I don't know, they've been blowing that shit up and whatever, and it's like you see pictures and stuff, and it's like, well, obviously you're not going to see a lot of people outside. But you
Are
know
you saying
what?
their population
Have
is
you
going
seen,
down?
you all right, remember, I don't know, a couple months ago, I guess, whenever the, like, the Hong Kong riot started?
Yeah.
As you see the people out in the streets, the drone shots of fucking, literally, millions of people out in the streets. Like, literally, like, I don't know, a quarter of the population out in the streets
Did
at all
you see
times.
that video of the general Trump bombed?
In,
They killed
in Iraq.
In the
and
Middle
all those
East.
people were in the street. You didn't see that video? on
That was the
Twitter?
one that.
No, that's what I was
Iran
talking about. Though. I was
retaliated
talking
on or
about like the
something, I think?
Iraq, or I don't know. I
No,
don't know
no,
if
it was
related to that.
was it Iraq general or Iran?
I think it was Iran because that's when we had the scare with Iran, and Iran bombed one of our
Yeah,
bases,
Yeah,
and it was all over the news, and I thought World War III was going to happen.
right. January.
Still could happen.
Oh, Soleimani.
Soleimani, right?
Soleimani.
And he died in Baghdad, but he was Iranian. Where was he born?
He was a general.
Uh,
for
Yeah, he's
Iran.
Iranian.
Yeah.
But there was what I was saying is during those Hong Kong riots,
So
there was also like
many
Indian riots and
people.
also Iraqi riots, and it's like the Iraqi riots, you got like not even a fraction of the number of videos out of there. It's like Hong Kong for some reason they had literally videos every day of like
Yeah,
it's
if
because they
you
had so many more like media. Is that
if you
Yeah,
look
was
this
that
up,
like-
look up the Soleimani funeral.
that's the Soleimani funeral?
Yeah,
Dude,
it was, really
like
packed.
this, but like another like 2 miles of just
Wait, that's it though. That's in Iran,
yeah.
so that's like Tehran.
But they had a video on Twitter. Let me go to Twitter.
That's insane.
Dude,
No, but-
2020 has been nuts.
2020 has been nuts.
Corona, fucking Kobe.
Soleimani.
And Kobe,
Bernie
yeah.
dropped out.
Dude, the entire nation mourning that guy's. I mean, okay,
you
God
spell his
forbid,
name?
but like, Trump dies. Is he gonna have even a tenth of that many people at his funeral?
I don't know how many people they count that.
Nah, but like, yeah, he's our president. He wouldn't have as many people, but like,
But that guy wasn't even their president. That
I
guy
know he
like-
was their general.
I guess it's more important than their president, maybe.
Like, why? Oh man.
I don't know.
It's-
This is one of those perspective things. You know, you could say they're brainwashed. You could say they're
Yeah,
not.
wait,
I don't
watch
know.
this. Yeah, I mean, just the crowd size of people who went out and gathered for just
It's really hard. I don't know. I don't know how you measure that shit.
You know, I
look
don't
at
know.
that. This is for 45 seconds. It keeps going down the
That's
street.
disgusting.
What is
So
It's literally just like bridges and just filled.
Oh
this
my
is-
god!
this has been, like,
and they
10
can't
seconds
even see
in.
anything. You're just going down this bridge with this many packed.
And you know
people.
what? For some reason,
Just be part
I
of
don't
the
know.
mob.
I guess there's some American things I can consider. Like Obama's inauguration was kind of like that.
Compared to
no,
Trump's.
no, dude, this is
Well, yeah.
bigger.
But no, I'm
This
just
is
saying, like
insane.
in the
Definitely
like the
Look,
sheer number of
this is
people.
45 seconds of just going.
Well, I don't know. Let's look it up. How many people?
Which president had the biggest inauguration?
Definitely Obama.
You think so?
Yeah, by far and away. How
Wasn't
many-
Trump?
How many people were at Soleimani's funeral?
Trump didn't have as many, but I mean, every president has a
How
lot.
do you spell it?
I mean,
Soleimani.
Obama clearly had more than Trump, but like, I wonder if anyone.
No one even came close, dude.
Trump's inauguration became the most streamed. Yeah. Okay. Great.
There's
That
already a
makes sense.
Wikipedia page for this.
More technologically savvy.
Yeah, Obama takes the cake. Both his inaugurations. His first inauguration was bigger than his second. I guess that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
You know, first African American president.
Soleimani's funeral is named as the second largest funeral with the presence. What's the largest funeral? What could possibly?
Largest
Soleimani.
funeral? Oh, no, probably Gandhi or something.
Khomeini. I remember that. That's like somebody else that we killed. Oh, that was another
Someone
Iranian
else
guy.
we killed. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
pretty sure. But anyways, so 7 million people were in that video supposedly at Soleimani's
7
funeral.
No,
million?
it says Nelson Mandela had 15 million.
Nelson Mandela, really? I
Yeah.
don't see that.
Although crowd estimates should always be treated with caution, the largest funeral attendance in history is widely thought to have happened in 1969, when 15 million people reportedly took to the streets of Chennai for
What year?
the former chief minister. Oh wait, no, this is someone else. This for C.N.
Yeah.
Annadurai, the former chief minister of Tamil Nadu.
What is that?
Yeah, this
fucking
is
Sri
about.
Lanka
This said. This
I
is
don't
about.
or India? This says the largest funeral was Saeed Khomeini, who was like the president of Iran
Yeah.
in like the 80s,
10 to 17 million people.
and he died in 89. Yeah, that's.
Holy damn.
But okay, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm way off base here, but like,
I can't think
I
of anybody
feel
who
like-
get that many people to go
well,
to
yeah.
a
There's
funeral.
first of all, there's nothing
Especially
in
in the US.
America that will ever draw that many people. Because like,
No.
I mean, where are all these people coming from? Are they all in Tehran? Like, what's the population of Tehran?
I don't know. I could be totally wrong about this, but I don't know if there's a location in any of our cities where you can literally hold that many civilized people.
Well, civilized. I wouldn't consider these
That's
people
that's
civilized.
like literally
people climbing up
everybody
buildings
in New
and
York
stuff.
City, and some, coming out on the street.
I mean, like when a New York team has like their championship parade in Manhattan, like how many people attend
a
that?
few 100,000.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
that many.
Well,
Like,
it's still ridiculous looking. But
oh, but what about like the gay pride parade or like the
A million?
Thanksgiving
Oh,
Day
nowhere
parade or something
near.
like that?
a million.
A million. I mean, that's
The
in my
Women's
opinion.
March?
That's probably the most New York can handle. But like, you'd have to have the street
Or in
for
Washington.
the entire length of Manhattan just lined with
Largest
people.
gatherings in human history. List
Woodstock?
of largest peaceful gatherings.
Wait, how many people are in Woodstock?
Not-
Okay, so India's got the first 3.
Are they over 20 million?
Yeah.
Jesus
30 million,
Christ.
50 million, 60 to 80 million.
Just like a
And that was-
giant
That's not even that
open
big.
field.
All between
How do
2010
you-
and 2019. I don't know what these are for. They're all for the
It's all India and Iraq.
Kumbh Mela is a major pilgrimage of Hinduism. Okay, so like essentially the Hajj in
It's
Islam.
yearly. It's yearly.
Yeah. And so a few years they've had 30 million plus.
I don't think our country is that united that we can actually.
It's
do
because
something
they're
like
all.
that.
It's because there's like huge populations of like the same religion.
The number one gathering.
Yeah, but
of all
that was
time.
the general Soleimani. Like had, like they must. have
There's
obviously-
another pilgrimage,
obviously
the
assuming
Arba'in pilgrimage in
They
fucking
supported that general greatly.
Iraq.
No, the biggest gathering in
Oh, I see it. Tamil Nadu,
the
India.
the biggest gathering of all time. The Kumbh Mela in India,
Yeah.
60, 80 million people.
Yeah.
That's a quarter of our country. A quarter of our country attended.
Yeah, but
one
it's
thing.
it's a tenth of their country. Not
But
even.
no, but regardless, I'm just saying, how the can we do that? I can't believe they didn't say.
What does
fuck.
that even look like? What does that even look like?
I don't know.
How the-
It's
Type
like
of
it's like
picture.
filling up the entire state of Delaware.
No. Okay. I want to see like an actual picture. Kumbh Mela 2010. Fuck.
How many babies were born at Woodstock? What kind of freaking people ask
Give
that?
me good pictures. I want like.
Just say
YouTube.
Ariel.
Let me get.
Oh,
YouTube.
it's like a festival. It covers like the entire.
Yeah, but the people.
area.
What I'm saying is like the people are still all up against each other.
What is Kumbh Mela? Have we figured that out yet?
Wait,
It's a-
like
it's
you ever
the
see
pilgrimage.
you ever see pictures
Oh,
of
okay.
Hindu
you ever
pilgrimage.
see the pictures of Woodstock? It's just like endless people.
How many people?
Yeah,
were at Woodstock?
Woodstock was like.
400,000.
Yeah, I was gonna
400?
say it can't be over.
And
a
like
million.
that's insane, right?
That's insane.
Like
That
that
is
took
insane.
up like a. Well, I guess it didn't take up
And
like a huge portion of space, but
that's
like.
thousands of people coming from all parts of the country. Like
Shout out to Woodstock from the Peanuts.
the
But what I was gonna say, I guess part of it is obviously all these largest gatherings, peaceful gatherings, all of them over 10 million. First of all, they're all in Iraq and India. Literally, Iraq, India. Oh, one's in Iran. Just one's in Iran. But anyways, that's like
I guess
all
pretty united
all Muslims or
ideology.
all I guess basically
ideologically.
Hindus because they're all.
But
like,
you know
these
why?
pilgrimages.
It's because they're so like together and united. They
because
do
they're
things
under
together.
basically one religion,
Yeah.
which allows them to all
Yeah,
do
but
this
is it
same thing.
How
is
powerful is
religion what
religion? It's
brought
crazy.
them together
In
for
this-
Soleimani's funeral?
I mean, not entirely, but yeah.
But
I
the
mean, pretty
entire
much.
country is like one religion.
It's like
in
there
any
is
way.
only one religion, so like that's just kind of like
Yeah,
because
no,
because the funeral itself is a practice of the religion, I guess, right?
yeah, No, yeah, technically,
Kind
yeah.
of, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, here we go. 5 to 10 million.
That's nuts.
So New York City in 1951. Whoa, what? An estimated 7.5 million people gathered in New York City.
That must have been Manhattan, they're saying?
I guess. 1951 to honor General Douglas MacArthur, 15 days after being relieved by Truman.
It was people in Manhattan at once.
So let's think.
You're saying it was Douglas MacArthur's funeral?
No, it was just after he got.
What
it
do
was
you-
after he got fired.
What, in like the 60s?
51.
51?
So wait, let's.
No. Fired from what? He,
Truman relieved him from being the top general, I guess.
it was 1951?
Yeah.
I thought it was later
Oh,
than
damn.
51.
So it says.
It had to have been like the mid 50s.
It says 1951.
Dude, I'm going to challenge that.
Go ahead.
You can't find a better site than Wikipedia.
And then the only other thing in the U.S. is a few over 5 million people attended the 2016 World Series parade in Chicago after the Chicago Cubs won.
That's
for the first
right.
time.
How many
I
people?
remember that.
A little over 5 million.
That was
That's a
of
lot.
people.
That's a lot. I don't know if New York could top that.
You know,
New
if
York
the Bills
just
won the
topped it,
Super Bowl,
7.5.
they'd get.
No, I'm saying in terms of
More than
sports.
that.
I should.
Oh, in
sorry,
terms of sports, yeah.
I should have
Just saying.
specified
Um,
because we're so freaking divided in sports. That's why. Fuck the Mets. Sorry.
Yeah, if New York had one team
Yeah,
for every sport,
That's what I know. I hate Boston, but that's what I envy about Boston is that their whole fucking city is surrounding one
yeah,
team
they're
per
not.
sport.
They're not as big as New York. Though.
I know, but still, like, there's
New York's got two
more
basketball. New York's got 2 football. New York's got 2
Three
baseball.
football.
two everything, 2 or 3 everything.
3 football.
If you want to include New Jersey, you got 3 of everything.
Jersey Devils.
Yeah, fuck Jersey. Jesus.
There's no reason.
Fucking 3 hockey. Yeah, shit.
Okay, Noah, here we go.
Nobody cares about the Islanders. Sorry, guys.
We can shift this to sports. Fuck the Islanders.
Anyway, how do you think like if Joe Exotic had to close his zoo? Let's just say Joe Exotic was still running his zoo at the moment, and amid Corona,
Dude,
how would he be running? How would he be paying for everything?
who?
Joe Exotic.
How would he be paying for things with Corona? You're saying? Oh,
Yeah.
because they can't come to a zoo.
Yeah, he can't.
But
No
can't
petting. No.
Well, he's in jail currently, right?
No,
That's
I'm
what's
saying
going
if he
on?
was, if
If
he's
he
still
wasn't,
out
yeah.
there, still doing his zoo.
I mean, what would
He
he
could
do?
charge even more.
He'd probably just ask that guy Jeff Lowe to come back. Fund my campaign.
Can you fund me until this virus is this
How was I
pandemic has
supposed to know
ended?
he was behind in Ferrari payments? How was I supposed to know his house was rented?
I don't know.
There's
Well,
definitely
you know
ways you
what?
could
He'd
find
probably
that
get more. He'd probably get more food trucks of food to come, to drop off.
Oh, because more meat would go
More
bad?
people
No,
would.
but
No, you think more people will be, going to the supermarkets? Maybe, right? Do you think more people will be going to supermarkets because restaurants are closed and stuff like that?
I
And
mean,
therefore,
I mean,
more.
we've
sales
seen
are
the
up.
supermarkets are definitely fucking out of meat a bunch of times, so it's like he definitely would have some trouble feeding those tigers.
Well,
But do you think they're delivering more and more food rapidly,
I
quicker?
guess this really applies just in general to exotic cats because like Joe Exotic had what fucking 237 tigers, right? First of all,
232.
237 million to make Avatar. So let's just come on.
1 million to yeah.
Illuminati.
I see. Yeah, there's something there. You might be onto
Precisely.
something.
But his practices are definitely used by other large cat owners that have so many fucking cats. That they
His
have-
practices are
No,
Doc
no,
Antle's
what's his name?
practices.
Doc Antle, the guy from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
He does 10,000 annually for each tiger.
Yeah, he also has an
Right, but how's
elephant
he?
the size of his house.
Is he using fucking McDonald? Not
He
McDonald's.
he also
using-
doesn't have that many tigers, and he feeds them like
a lot better.
yeah.
So
like,
he's not feeding them from Walmart.
You guys
Yeah.
want some more of this or no?
No, I'm alright.
also more
Hit me.
Hit me.
more cup of Joe.
Cup of Joe Exotic. I can't believe he didn't make his own coffee.
He does make his own coffee.
Does
He has his
he?
own coffee maker in his gift shop.
Oh, never
That's
mind.
good.
That's genius.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, dude.
I wonder if he's gonna make a shit ton of money.
Wait,
is he-
out of jail?
Well, just now,
His
while
bank
he's in
account's
jail.
building up right now.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't
That's
know how
his
that works.
accountant.
As a felon, can you?
Wait, do you think he got a percentage?
Do you think he's gonna get
Uh,
pardoned?
No.
No, Trump's not gonna pardon him.
I gotta be
No,
honest.
that was
If
just a
Trump-
joking question,
If
just
Trump,
to like.
if Trump
ask
pardoned
him,
him, that
like-
would totally help his election possibility. Re-election
That's a really good.
Well,
point.
he did.
They do that too. That's like a thing that people
did
do.
set
That
Joe
was
to get
Exotic
reelected.
free.
You want the rest of this or no? There's like hardly anything left. Just take it. You've already woken up, but I need you more.
It just
awake.
actually gets to the point where they then
Oh yeah.
then asked Joe Biden
Joe Biden to like
as the
not
Democratic
stutter?
nominee, would you have let Joe Exotic free if you were in Trump's place?
Like Joe Exotic, that's that guy from that reality show.
Who's
Hold on, can I
Joe
play a video
Exotic.
for you guys? I don't know if you should
No, you can play whatever you
probably
Who's
be
that?
able to hear it.
As long as it's not a strings instrument, we're
Let me
good.
see if this doesn't look like it's gonna be a good video.
of what?
This dude was just on CNBC today. It's funny. I read something. I've been following. I think Wall Street Bets posted this on Reddit, and one they posted something the other day that was like, you know, the starter kit meme.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
posted like the random like guest, special guest on CNBC
Yeah.
starter kit, and I looked at it and it basically filled.
It was like, yeah,
It
fit the bill.
Fit the bill for my dad. I was like, yeah, like
Andy Brenner.
random, probably from like a firm you've never heard of. I don't know. It said a bunch of stuff, and I just thought it was funny. But then they posted a video that I guess this guy was on today.
Uh-huh.
I've never heard of this guy before. His name is Chamath Palihapitiya. I didn't look up his.
That's
net
pretty
worth.
good.
You got that pronunciation
Yeah,
right.
you
Thanks,
said it
thanks.
perfectly.
Yeah.
I didn't look up his fucking net worth, but he has a firm called Social Capital. It's a venture capital company, and he's like a board member for the fucking the Warriors, Golden
Uh-huh.
State Warriors, and
He's a what for Golden State?
he's like a board member or something. He's from like Sri Lanka, whatever.
So he owns a part
he's
of them?
Yeah, I guess. A small percentage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's some really rich dude, right? Relatively young.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this video. Oh, there's probably gonna be a fucking ad. Loading ad. All right. I
So
think
what was he talking about?
Oh fuck! That was the video.
All right, just
Give
give us
me
the
a
gist.
No, I'm not gonna do it justice. Is my problem.
Justice. We'd
Something's-
rather have
something's
justice or
buzzing a little
vengeance.
Do you hear it?
Yeah,
Staticky.
Is it my computer?
it could be.
It's probably my
Yeah,
computer.
just turn the volume. We'll see what happens.
No, it's not the volume. It's the fucking fan.
Oh, I think it is.
I think it's more so the headphones than the microphone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ignore that. We're fine, guys.
His computer's going on
It was the
hyper speed. It's
See,
gonna
my
start
other
flying. The
computer's
fan's
even
going
louder.
so fast.
Let me see if I can find this stupid ass.
Oh yeah, no. Going back to MacArthur, you were right. 1951, and in 1952, February of 1952, Truman's approval rating had fallen 22%. Mostly,
Oh, yeah, they hated it.
people mostly think it. That
You
was
know, Truman
attributed
is
to that.
like. First of all, was he ever? Yeah, he was elected because he got the election in '46, right?
Well, yeah, because he served for what, a year and a half after Roosevelt. No, he served for 2.5 years, I think, after Roosevelt passed away,
'Cause
and then he got
Roosevelt-
reelected after.
So
that.
Roosevelt was elected in
Roosevelt was elected
32,
in 44.
36, 40, and 44.
Yeah,
And so yeah, so Truman served from like 44 to 40.
no, he served from. Yeah, okay, something like that. Yeah, so he was like 3.5 years.
Yeah,
or
he
something
served
like that.
because he died early.
Yeah,
And yeah, I remember reading all about Truman. Truman like
yeah, the 48
wasn't
election.
even. Truman is like the epitome of getting elected without doing a damn thing.
Okay, okay, keep going.
Because let me explain.
I mean,
You
re-election.
remember elected period.
First
Remember
term.
remember the motherfucking.
What about his? Did he serve 2
Shut the
terms?
fuck up! Yeah, he did.
Oh,
you know,
did-
Well, he didn't
1
get elected
and
for the first one.
3/4.
He served like 3.5 years off of fucking Roosevelt dying.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
a VP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roosevelt literally passed out when he was touching the Bible on his.
Motherfucking. So you remember?
Smothered him with a pillow.
You seen the movie Gangs of New York?
Yeah.
All right. So you
Yeah.
remember? Yeah. You remember Tampany Hall?
I never saw that movie. I'm sorry.
Tampany Hall. It's
Was she
basically
in that
just like the
movie?
story of like, what do they call him? Boss Tweed. You ever heard of Boss Tweed?
I've heard that name
It's a
before.
name.
Yeah.
So in New York in like 1900, some dude named Boss Tweed, and I'm sure there's plenty of other like examples of like a guy like that all across the U.S. But Boss Tweed was like this dude who literally ran shit in New York, like fuck the mayor of New York,
He was the
fuck
boss of
president.
Tammany Hall. It says.
Tammany Hall, that's it. And so like the dude just literally, it's like you needed his approval to get one, anything, and two, to get elected. Like if you were elected, if you had his backing, you were elected. Period. It couldn't matter less could be a
He was
rapist, could be a murderer, it could be
The
whatever.
Democratic Party political machine.
Literally, he ran that shit. All right. Fucking so that shit was pretty widespread. That's just like political corruption. That's why I don't even trust like today's politics. Is
It's
partially
even worse than this.
it's at least
It's just
related
hidden.
to this because it's all like an evolution, right?
Yeah.
Like it got to him at some point, whatever it started, however you want to say politics started in the U.S. and whatever it got to him, and then like I think it's just maybe slightly evolved, through like the last 100 years.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, so in 1930s, that he was able to get anyone elected in New York, but it's like that also spreads. You could get you can get a mayor elected, you can get a senator elected, you can get a governor elected, you can get the president elected.
Yeah.
Truman was like he started out whatever he had like he went to war in World War One, whatever. He had like a hobby shop, a haberdashery, not a hobby shop, a haberdashery. He sold like ties, went bankrupt. He invested in oil, which ultimately should have been a good investment, but he didn't have enough money to like drill deep enough, so he ended up losing like all of his money. He was basically a failure in a lot of aspects of life. He did not do very well successfully as a businessman, right?
Truman.
Yeah. And so sometime in like the 20s, I want to say, he like got in good with the political machine in like Kansas, Missouri, and he basically the Kansas City mob, if you've seen Ozarks, and
I heard it's a great show.
he got elected as like the clerk or something of like Kansas or Kansas City. He got elected like a small position, but whatever. He had their backing. He got elected.
So that was his in.
That was his in. And then he got elected to like mayor or senator or something, right? And then so now he's just like this random ass senator that has no position being senator in Missouri. And then it's like, okay, now we have the 1944 election coming up, right? For FDR to get reelected. And FDR,
He needs a vice president.
well, FDR already had a vice president. I forget. Well, obviously he had like 3 vice presidents. He was elected 4 times. But he there was this dude literally out of North Salem. Swear to God.
Yeah.
Dude out of North Salem named Henry
We're currently in Somers.
something or other. Fuck. Type in North Salem
Henry
Vice
something or rather. How you spell that?
North Salem vice president.
North Salem vice president.
Maybe in
Andrew Brown?
No.
No, this is North Salem names top administrators.
No. Okay, give me put it in quotation marks each one. North Salem and vice president. It's like Henry whatever. This dude was like crazy Democratic. He was basically the Bernie Sanders of the time, but like for things that
To the very left.
You're saying he was a vice president for FDR?
I don't know if he was a vice president or if like he was on the ticket to be vice president. I think he was vice president and like he was on the ticket again.
John Nance Garner.
No. Literally let me see if I can
American
type this in.
Democratic politician and lawyer from Texas.
Wait, what'd you say his name was? You thought? Like
Henry Wallace. Henry Wallace.
Is that his name?
Henry Wallace. He was vice president.
Yeah, he was vice president. Okay.
He's from Iowa.
He died in Danbury.
Died in Danbury. This is your guy?
And, whatever. He had a fucking mansion in North Salem.
All right.
And so he was like
that
crazy
works.
crazy
that works.
Democratic, right? Crazy like progressive left wing. That's what it says. Nominee of the left wing Progressive Party, 1940.
Whatever left wing was at the time.
Right. And so whatever, however you feel about that, but fucking. So obviously, like the other Democrats, the DNC, the more conservative Democrats, really didn't like this dude, even though he was vice president. They didn't want him on the bill again. So they literally just like, they did some fucked up shit. But it was like they had the the convention in Chicago, and it was literally like Henry Wallace had it, like he was 100% gonna get it, and I don't know why, but it was like, I guess they got to vote for like FDR and the vice president. So it's like everyone picked FDR, but then it's like you get to separately pick the vice president.
So you're saying FDR doesn't pick his vice president?
Yeah, I guess. Or
essentially, it's not a combined ballot ticket.
Right. So something like that. And so it was like Wallace had it, and then it was like, okay, recount, and then they
So you
literally
get to separately vote for the vice president that runs with the president?
something like that.
You could put like an opposite party
They
vice
literally
president in
like
there if you want.
kept all of
Probably
these
can't be.
Wallace supporters outside. They like forced them. Like they didn't let them in, and then they had a recount. And then they had another
And
recount.
they shot him.
And yeah, basically like and then they were like, okay, we need somebody, and literally like they just picked Truman. They were like, let's get this nobody. We can. I bet you. Literally, I remember there's like a line from like the Kansas City boss tweet who was like, I could get this nobody, this dude Truman, this fucking clerk, this fucking nothing, to be president, and then he did.
And he did.
And so that's
So he's the one who slipped something in FDR's drink.
who knows. I forget why I even getting started on this. What I was talking about before. Oh, I wanted to show you that stupid fucking video, yo. One, take a look at this picture.
The Dow's best week since 1938.
More than 16 million Americans have lost jobs in 3 weeks.
Why is that?
It's just everything. It says everything that's wrong with America in one image. It's a picture of Kramer. You know Kramer from CNBC, Will?
Yeah.
It's like in the background on the screen. It says the Dow's best week since 1938. I guess it was a crazy fucking good
This week, you're saying?
I guess.
This week was good, yeah.
And then the subtitle is more than 16 million Americans have lost jobs in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's like
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's like completely. Let's see if I can find this video. I'm almost positive it was posted on here.
I mean, that's the thing about our country
Approaching
now is
Great
that
Depression level.
whether it's the digital age, whether it's, politics, whether it's the lack of unity, you can have so many things going so many different directions. I don't even know why it happens that way.
It's all like context when people describe things.
Well, how about this? How about you put like coronavirus working from home in perspective? Like imagine you put this virus in the U.S. in 1920, right? How many people can work from home? Less than 10% of the country can work from home. You don't have laptops, you don't have internet, you don't
A
have
lot of
VPN.
more physical labor jobs.
Our economy, the Dow would be below 10,000 if we couldn't work from home.
It'd be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous. I mean,
You
I don't.
really just have to pause the economy. That's
that's,
the only thing you can do.
I mean, they talk about the Spanish flu in the 1918 or whatever, but what is the biggest pandemic the U.S. has ever faced?
In terms of people who died, or in terms of
Affecting everyday life.
Like
I
scare,
mean, this
like-
has to be the biggest of all time.
I just looked at the worst
yeah, I think so.
outbreaks in
Pandemic.
outbreaks in U.S. history.
Smallpox
Smallpox,
in
1600s. Okay,
Yellow fever in 1793.
I'm just gonna scroll down to the most recent because I don't give a fuck.
It's
about
just I feel
1600s.
we've never
AIDS.
faced anything like this before because if you
HIV and AIDS was
AIDS is a
80s.
pretty big one.
yeah, but it didn't shut the country.
About 1.2 million people in the
Yeah,
United
but maybe
States
it
have HIV in the 1980s. Treatment, no cure, obviously.
Blacks are cool.
Yeah, but with AIDS, it's not
Yeah, it's not
the R factor. is not as
2010,
big as this.
2014, the whooping cough.
just in California.
Where'd it say that? Oh, it just says in California?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Milwaukee.
None of these are bad.
As a side thing, do you guys remember when Sidney Crosby had the mumps? His whole neck was blown up
I
like
do
a
remember
freaking
that.
jelly bean.
How do you get
Yeah,
that?
I
Is he not
remember I seen
vaccinated?
pictures
The
of him.
mumps. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he didn't have the MMR.
Is he
whatever.
American?
He's Canadian.
Canadian.
Is it required in the U.S. to get the MMR? Is it? Oh, I don't know. I just know I have it.
1916 to 1955, the peak of polio.
I mean, I don't
Dude,
know if
polio. Yeah,
That's scary.
polio
Yeah,
probably
that is
fucked some
really
people up,
freaking
yeah.
scary.
Tuberculosis probably too.
polio. FDR. Just talk about him.
It's at about 3,145
Yeah,
people
it
died
says
from
from
polio during its
1650
peak
Oh no, wait.
in 1952.
But yeah, look at that. They fucked that up. That should be 1955.
How can we trust these numbers if they don't have accurate graphs?
Healthline.com.
Healthline.com.
Here, let me play this
Check
video.
your shit.
Let me see what you guys think. It's a couple minutes.
More money for Main Street is needed. Maybe not in
Put your
spite
mic to
of
it.
The money to all of these companies or whatever that make up the economy as well. That more money
Do you hear that in your mic?
is needed everywhere, perhaps. But are you suggesting? You keep saying propping up zombie companies. Are you arguing to let airlines, for example, fail?
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
Yes.
how does
Our
that
boy.
make sense in the broader scheme of the economy?
Because it's not, because when you look at what it means, this is why I'm saying, this is a lie that's been purported by Wall Street. When a company fails, it does not fire their employees. It goes through a packaged bankruptcy, right? If anything, what happens is the people who have the pensions inside those companies, the employees of these companies, end up owning more of the company. The people that get wiped out are the speculators that own the unsecured tranches of debt, or the folks that own the equity. And by the way, those are the rules of the game. That's right, because these are the people that purport to be the most sophisticated investors in the world. They deserve to get wiped out. But the employees don't get wiped out. The pensions don't typically get wiped out.
Why does
Those are
anybody?
lies
I just
that we
understand.
tell
Why
you.
does anybody deserve, using your word, to get wiped out from a crisis created like this? How does anybody
Like, the
deserve to get
employees
wiped
don't.
out?
Well, but just be clear, who are we talking about? We're talking about a hedge fund that serves a bunch of billionaire family offices? Who cares? Let them get wiped out. Who cares? They don't get the summer in the Hamptons. Who cares?
I mean, there are
But if
people.
you get a
You don't
clean
think the
cap table,
employees?
hold on, Scott.
You don't
If
think
you
the
get a
employees
clean
of these
cap table,
companies own stocks? I mean, own their stocks, own the company's stocks?
you can look on Bloomberg and you can see what percentage of these companies are typically owned by. These things are owned by BlackRock. These things are owned by these huge, amorphous organizations. Ultimately, downstream, and the employee owns a few $100s or a few $1,000 of shares.
I just don't understand.
So
This
my
is
point
like like a natural disaster. Why does anybody deserve to get wiped out? Wouldn't that be immoral in and of itself?
No, because what's happening right now is what I'll tell you is on Main Street today, people are getting wiped out. And right now, rich CEOs are not, boards that had horrible governance are not, hedge funds are not,
We keep pausing.
people are. 6 million people just this week alone basically saying, holy mackerel, I don't know how I'm going to make my own expenses for the next few weeks, days, months. So it's happening today to individual Americans. And what we've done is disproportionately prop up and protect, poor performing
I don't know.
CEOs, companies, and boards. And you have to wash these people out.
So he just wants to wash out Wall Street is what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
But he's saying by letting the
but like
airlines
it's
go
not.
down?
It's not like
I think that's just an example.
It's not like a bailout like where the company's fucked up and then they get a bailout and they just fire everybody that's working for them. Like, I get what he's saying, but like I don't really know how you deal with it because it's a pandemic. It's not like they caused it themselves. Like, I don't really know. I mean, most of the stock market is owned by the wealthiest people, so it's like you can't really judge it. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you do in a pandemic. If people are losing their jobs, you can't just.
I mean, look,
If you wipe out the billionaires and the corporations that own the businesses, like that's going to affect the people working for them. But then again, we shouldn't rely on our country working that way. But they didn't fuck up. It's a pandemic, so I don't really know what you would do besides just pausing the economy.
What is kind of fucked up are those senators that got together a few months
That's
ago
fucked up as
and
shit.
freaking
And they-
pulled money out.
Get their stocks out.
It's like insider
liquidated.
trading. Yeah.
Pretty much.
But it's like
So fucked
My-
up.
my-
They should be in jail. Like, that's not in jail, but like,
Ah.
well, maybe in jail.
I mean,
Probably
look,
in jail.
it's ridiculously
I don't know
fucked
what
up,
the laws
but
are.
still, it's not like they knew for a fact that our country was going to go into shit. Like, they were basically just saying, oh, let's play this safe. I mean, you can read the tea leaves. Everyone's been predicting a recession for a while. You got this coronavirus spreading. It's just like, you know what? Like how can you have that sort of, like, where did they know
probably
it
had-
was going
they
to be this
probably had
bad? How
really
can you know?
good-
How could you know that?
Well, how'd they get the information? Like,
Yeah,
they just got really good intel from like top advisors. Like,
I don't know
they
exactly.
knew that Corona was going to explode.
It more or less could have just been like a pact. Like, if you pull money out, I'll pull money out, so that, you know, if we do well, we both do well. If, you know, we do shitty, we both do shitty, or something like that. It's like, it's one of the, it's like they say, like, you can't time the stock market. Like, that's not really, you know, something you can really do effectively. So it makes me
Four
question.
senators sold stocks before coronavirus threat crashed the market. They're so smart. How'd they know? Let's see.
It's almost like
3 Republicans, 1 Democrat. Dianne
yeah, it's all
Feinstein,
these
fucker.
fucking these fuckers. Fuck everybody else. I'm gonna get my money out.
ahead of the sales.
I want to know how they acquired the information to then pull out. How they saved money.
Prosecutors filing a criminal case under the Stock Act would have to show the same evidence as they would in a corporate insider trading case, Coffee says. Coffee's a law professor. you know, it gets touchy, right? Because even it's one of those things where it's like even if there was clear evidence, like they're not gonna show
But
or
how
allow it
how
out
they know?
how they
Like, how-
exactly. They're not
how are
gonna
they-
tell you how they knew.
Yeah, just information they received.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you can say like if you're aware that the market's gonna crash and you pull out, there's signs of it, like, and then you pull out, like, that's fine. But like,
It's almost like one of those things. Like some people look at like the Asian markets in the morning before the U.S. market opens, and they see how the Asian market's doing, and
it's,
they
it's
can
coming over soon.
yeah. So it's almost like
It's
you can judge
translating.
it like a month ahead of time. Like, oh wow, you know, Wuhan has all this crap going on. China's shutting down most of their country.
Yeah.
Their stock market's going down. Let's not play it safe, but let's assume this is going to happen in the U.S. Like, let's pull our stocks out.
Yeah.
You know, and anybody can Google. Everyone could have Googled what was happening in China. Like, it's not like that was a big secret in our country. You know, for the people who said that
Then again,
couldn't
like
get
it's,
here, I mean,
like
that's kind of
nothing-
naive.
No pandemic. I mean, related to Corona, like that spread so rapidly has ever come here. So like, any perspective or idea, like, is no one had no idea. Like, I don't even know what the president. Remember when Trump said was like, we haven't contained. It was like at like what 15 people
Yeah, that was a mess.
or something like that. Like literally like 30 days before. Like not 30 days before. Like 30 days earlier than today. A month ago. But like, was he getting different information and he was just saying it as it just wasn't as bad as it?
I think
As he-
Trump's. I think with everything Corona
Like
related with Trump, he's trying to
he
save
definitely
face.
was receiving bad information. He just played it down.
I don't even know
If
if
he
it's
said
bad
we have
information.
it well contained,
It's like
at
bad
15
interpretation,
people,
if anything.
like when he said it, we have it. Yeah, but how do you get like if you're getting bad information, then those people aren't qualified. But I'm sure he has a lot of people. He has some people who are qualified, like on the CDC, like giving him information. Like he must receive information, and just downplay it. Like
Oh yeah.
the guy's like, you know what, we really don't have a handle on this. He's like, you know what, we have this whole thing under control.
You know, it's almost like one of those things where it's like, here's the spectrum, right, Mr. Trump? It can be so good that only 15 people get infected. It can get so bad that
Here's the best, here's the
1.7 million
worst.
people are going to get
Here's
it.
the best scenario. Here's the worst scenario.
Trump's like, let's go with the best scenario.
Pick one. And you know what? It's 15 right now. It's gonna stay at 15.
I mean, you're dealing with a virus. It's like, why not prepare for the worst?
I would
or
say the worst.
prepare for the worst.
I
hope
would
for the
say
best.
the worst. Yeah, I would say the
There's
worst
no reason
thing.
not to hope for the worst.
And
or
you know,
I mean,
get
prepare for the
everyone
worst.
to, you know, I mean, sadly, prepare for it more. Be a little bit more afraid of it and understand how bad it can be and how fast it can spread and how many people can get seriously sick from it.
I mean, it's like, you know, in hindsight,
And die, obviously.
I don't know about you guys, but like
I think it's like
This-
11,000 deaths right now
in the country's approaching 20,000. I think
in the country.
the country's over
country?
15,000. I'm pretty sure right now.
I thought it was like 10,000 like 5 days ago.
Yeah, it definitely
Because
was.
someone was like, it's like 3 9/11s, like when it was like almost 10,000, which is what.
This thing says the U.S. Oh, these are new cases. Sorry. Oh wow. U.S. new cases are going up right now. New cases.
Okay, this is by state. I don't.
New York leading the charge with 7,000 deaths right now. Yeah, United States 18,000 deaths.
18,000.
504,000 confirmed.
18,000 and about like
Almost 19,000.
over a third is.
It's
New
been less
York.
than a month.
So 7,000 have died. Over 7,000 have died so that's crazy because like it says right now in New York, it says 160,000 confirmed,
Uh-huh.
13,000 recovered, and 7,000 dead. So that's 130,000 unknown
I mean, you know,
at the moment, like of what's.
both the country and the state of New York experienced a down the past few days, but today and yesterday spiked right back up. Shouldn't say spiked right back up, but
That's
it
why
came
it's
back
so
up.
it's so weird. Like obviously, people may have a better. People definitely have a better understanding than us on it, who are professionals and studied this and have dealt with situations like this. But how do you? I saw one plan. I think it was like on CNN or something, and the first step is to obviously get the
Tests.
the curve,
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever.
flatten the curve.
Flatten the curve, and then next was open state by state, which
Noah wants some dill pickle chips. Sounds so calm and peaceful.
what are you touching? It's open state by state, and it's like what if you open the first state and then it fucks up, like it starts spreading, like
Well, that's like freaking
immensely in that
Florida.
one state.
Florida, they're trying to open schools next week or something like that. It's like, yeah, let's just get the kids out there. Kids are fine.
Like, how are you ever gonna like open anything up and be like, it's all good now. Don't worry about it. You're not gonna get it now. Don't.
You just have to play it safe,
Why
as
can't
we
we
have
just-
not done
why
so
can't
far.
we
I
just have
can get the
Corona
state by
fucking
state
season?
thing. Obviously, the most remote states you can probably open up earlier than the other states, but like one fuck up and it's fucked, and you go back in lockdown, and it's like how do you do that? How do you like I mean, obviously you can wait like months, like 10 months, 10, 14 months, right?
Yeah,
For the cure, the
vaccine.
vaccine, which they said like if someone gets tested for it and it works, you have to wait at least like 12 to 14 months.
Yeah.
Like to see the side effects after that, because you can't just keep giving it out to everybody without knowing or understanding the side effects a year after. So like
That's true. I
you have
forgot
to
they
wait.
already like developed the vaccine.
Yeah, and then once they see it works, you can't give it out to the public until you wait about a year until you see the side effects or what comes after or what you may have to deal with. It could be totally fine, but like you still have to wait. And it's like, what do you do? Like can we hold out for a year? Can
I mean,
hold
how
out
would
for
you
14
guys-
months?
How would you guys feel about quarantining for the next 2 years? Like, essentially what we've already been doing for the last.
I mean,
month, but,
obviously,
like,
we're all younger,
working
we're all
from home.
healthier, we're
Love
all
working from home.
fine.
yeah, I love working from
I
home.
love working from
And
home.
I mean, there's people with cases like our age and younger who have like no problems whatsoever, who are experiencing like really tough time. I don't know. I mean, it's like all fun and all. We get to stay home and not really
I mean,
do that much and eat food and shit. But like,
the exercise part of it sucks.
if I was like 70 or 80, like I'd be scared as shit, and I have to go out and get my food at the grocery store. And
Well, you think that, but a lot of old people are going out because they're just,
you have to. On the bike trail, so many people,
Oh, yeah.
old people.
I was saying to someone that like you should charge the county should charge a fee to go on the bike path. They'd
Oh
make
my
so much
God.
money.
To rejuvenate the
It'd be ridiculous. Pay like 50 cents a person to go on the bike path. It's genius.
Exactly. Tolls. Just put bike path tolls.
Oh my gosh! Every town you go through, another toll. Yorktown, Somers, Mayapack, another toll.
Or even just like make little sections.
A county toll, you
Make
go to
little
Putnam.
sections of every town. Where you just have to pay a little toll.
The troll toll.
Everybody buys an Easy Pass for the roads too.
We'll just have Noah. collect
It's
the toll.
only 50 cents a toll.
Can I get $1? Adam,
We
Adam
chance
ride
for
our
a
bikes
five?
down Mayapack half. We have to pay a couple tolls.
Yeah. No, I mean,
But it's just like it's so weird. Like seeing like it was like I think it was like in the first week of the Corona shutdown, and it's like maybe 2 or 3 people are wearing the mask and the gloves, and you're like,
yeah, what an idiot.
you're
What a
like
clown
it's
this
not
guy
that
is.
bad.
Yeah.
And like, well,
like,
I
bro,
never thought it was.
relax.
I always thought it was pretty bad, but like, now you think like, wow, like everyone's wearing a mask, everyone's wearing gloves, some people are wearing freaking full on like suits and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
even like food shopping in the city, like it must be like crazy. Like they must be wearing a lot more instead of like up here in your town going to Acme.
Look at the confirmed cases. New York has exactly, or not exactly, but almost 1/10 of the worldwide cases.
Yeah. And like, what I was saying to you guys earlier was like, you hear of all the celebrities and like all the athletes and
Yeah.
politicians
already have
getting it,
Mhm.
and you're like, some people say like, oh, they see a lot of people.
But maybe they're just getting tested more.
Yeah, I think it's just because they're getting tested more, which leads them to believe like it's way more people
That have it.
that have corona
Like
right
we
now.
probably, I think honestly, I
than we
think we
think.
already have corona. I think we had corona before we went to Maine.
You think so?
Yeah. So I think we already have corona. It just
We went to
hasn't really
Maine.
affected us.
We went to Maine.
Yeah.
What?
But then, you
2
know,
weeks
you
ago?
think we're spreading it to all these people?
2.5 weeks ago we went to
Maybe,
Maine.
yeah, maybe 3.
No, wait, 3 weeks ago? Yeah, maybe 3 weeks ago. So that's how long it's been, right? 3 weeks now since everything's been shut down.
More.
I think.
I think it's been a month.
This will be a month. Tomorrow we would have left for skiing 4 weeks ago.
We went skiing, and
On
we
the
went skiing
last-
for one day.
On
We
the
got
last
there,
day,
skied.
the last day of corona.
Had to
Or the first
stay.
day, I don't know.
Was gonna stay the night, ski the next day, because that's where our lift passes were, and they shut down the day we got there. So
I
we got
literally-
to ski for one day.
I literally go up to rent the skis. I was the only one renting. The guy goes, "You want 1 or 2 days?" I'm like, 1. Oh wait, no, 2. And he goes, he just shakes his head. Sorry, he's like, "Yeah, we're not gonna be open tomorrow." It was like
You're not
10:45
gonna
in
want
the
that
morning.
second
Not
day.
even. It was like 10:20 in the morning.
Buddy, this is
like,
the
"What?"
last
He's like,
time
"Yeah,
you're
we're
gonna
closed
ski.
tomorrow."
Well, that's like
in
I went
years.
downstairs to I didn't go to the bathroom. I come upstairs because you were renting the skis, and I was like, what's going on? You're like, oh, bad news.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
thought
we
you were
were like
joking, 'cause we
I
were
feel
just
like,
talking about that
yeah,
before.
I know, but I feel like we were like some of the first 2 people to find out on the mountain because like
We were.
literally other employees I don't think knew
They
because they didn't release like the press release until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So like we
Yeah.
literally knew like 4 hours before everybody else.
I kept asking the people checking tickets on the lift like about it, and the first person I asked, he was like, "What are you talking about? I don't know." Next person I asked, guy just laughed, didn't even say anything. Next person I asked was like, "Ah, man, I don't know." And then after that, the last girl was like, "Yeah, man, we're closed tomorrow." It's just like this gradually like got worse and worse answers.
Do you remember the Democratic primary? They had people vote, I think, in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was Wisconsin.
What was it? What
April
That's what
7th
caused Bernie to drop
on
out.
Tuesday. Well, I don't know.
Dr. Fauci.
What was the deal with it?
They had people vote on April 7th. Like,
Oh,
go
in
out and
person?
vote for the Democratic primary.
In person?
Yeah. One person had a sign, I think, in line that said, "This is ridiculous." And I think they stopped states now. I'm not really sure.
Who won Wisconsin?
Biden.
What was
Yeah,
the
I mean,
what
Bernie
was the
dropped
tally?
out, so it's only Biden, right? Well, his name's still on the ballot. He dropped out, but his name is still on the ballot,
Right,
so you
right.
can still vote for him.
But look up the Wisconsin results.
Yeah, so I'm looking up.
That's funny. Like they don't show it anymore
There it is.
because there's no need to.
Hey, see, they haven't even come in.
Yeah, there's probably still counting.
I don't understand. Like, why? Why
Trump's
why
running by
can't this
himself,
be more seamless?
obviously.
I know I'm probably sounding like an idiot, but like literally, they can grade scantrons in 30 seconds.
Yeah, right. Like I don't understand this at all.
Yeah.
Why can't
I
we
don't
vote online? Why can't they get like a secure thing for us to vote online? Can't you vote from home? Can't we?
No, you can't vote from home. It's going to cause fraud. I'm not losing this election because of fraud.
Stupid.
I don't know.
I mean, look, if there's one thing I know about our country, it's that we got a lot of problems, man.
You know what I heard? No, what I heard was interesting the other day. It was the someone was in an argument with someone about the Second Amendment. And this isn't an argument about the Second Amendment or anything like that. It was so in a part of it, obviously, it says the right to bear arms
Yes,
to defend yourself
from evil.
from
I thought it was the
tyranny.
right to arm bears.
The right to arm bears.
You
That
keep-
too.
You keep.
We
arming
should arm bears. They should be
Just
protected.
put knives and
How are they
guns
gonna
on
fight?
the sides of bears.
How are they gonna fight
How are we gonna get them
the
into our army?
the,
How are we
the
gonna have a
stronger
bear army?
bears?
How are we
they-
gonna fight the Russians who are riding grizzlies?
Let's
Yeah.
just take Chris Pratt's advice from Parks and Rec. Let's just take all the lions, train our military,
They gave me
and-
all their lions.
Yeah.
I have all the lions.
all the lions. I mean, if you have every lion in the world, there's no chance. Well, first of all, lions. I'm taking down Joe Exotic's army with
what did he
all
trade?
lions.
Wait,
in the
what did
world.
he trade for his lions?
He traded the whole military. He traded like
He
all
traded
these.
his military
Yeah,
for
like a
for,
legit
like
military.
Russia's lions or like Africa's lions.
No, Kenya's lions or something
Kenya's
like that, right? Kenya,
lions.
was that what it was?
I feel like the U.S. has more.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Let's look at it.
No,
Lions.
They said there's more
Big cats.
big cats in cages
captivity,
in like the U.S. than
Then
like the
across
rest.
world.
Yeah,
Then,
the
and
globe.
then in wild though, they didn't compare it to other big cats in cages across the world.
Oh,
It
well, there's
says
probably still more than the U.S. you think.
100 years ago there were more than
Probably.
200,000 wild lions in Africa. Now there's only about 20,000.
Like, there's probably no one who
It's
owns
a lot
like
of lions.
I wouldn't think there's anyone that owns a lion in Africa or like any country in Africa. I mean, I'm sure
sure
there
there's
are.
plenty.
There are over
not a ton.
15,000 lions in Tanzania.
Like maybe
China, I bet.
like the bottom half of Africa.
You know what?
It's kind of like putting a what's a native animal that's around here like a fox in a
A
cage.
deer.
Like that's stupid. Or a deer. It's like that's stupid as fuck. Like they're out.
No, it's
in the
totally
wild.
different because it's like something that's like a deer's a little more similar because people hunt deer, but like
Yeah.
you literally aren't even really allowed to hunt lions. Like it's a huge like
Yeah.
faux
Yeah,
pas,
poachers.
So it's like it'd be more like hunting, or I mean, it'd be more like keeping fucking what in a cage, like a fucking moose. Nah, it's not cool.
I mean, that's
But anyway, I was gonna say someone was saying the right to bear arms to defend
you had
against.
to think about that one.
Yes.
You almost said arm bearers.
I'm gonna think about that every time I read it or I see it. So some like to defend against tyranny. So like our government, if we were to fight against our government, right?
Yeah.
So technically, would that mean we would have to be able to legally own the same weapons the military owns? Because how are we gonna fight the government if we don't have the same weapons and artillery like that they do?
You know, I
Like,
mean,
do-
the
like,
language.
like the
you're
government.
right. The language
what's
of
the
the
what's the
amendment.
big ship they have? Like the Intrepid. What is that?
The aircraft carrier.
Yeah. Like, can I own an aircraft carrier?
You could not have enough money. I don't think Bill Gates has enough. Bill Gates probably.
Yeah,
has
sure
enough.
he does. But like, if I can, but like no,
How
but
much is an
they have one.
You
Like,
can have a yacht though. You
how
have
am
a
I supposed to
fucking
defend
big-ass
myself
yacht.
when they have an aircraft carrier or like a tank? Let's say they have tanks. How
Mhm.
come I can't have a tank? Like, if they have tanks, how am I going to defend myself against a tank?
All right, but if you also think about it, you talk about going back to the right to bear arms,
8.5
the Second
billion.
Amendment.
Yeah.
You talk about the founding fathers.
Yeah.
Founding fathers who like Declaration of Independence.
No, I
fucking-
don't care what they meant.
No, I'm not saying what they meant. I'm just saying like they did mean like the right to bear arms, fucking to fight the fucking tyranny or
Yeah.
whatever, the authoritarian power. But they were rich as fuck, dude. Back then, they were literally like their combined wealth, the 56 signatures on the fucking Declaration of
It's
Independence.
probably like over 50% of the country's
Probably
wealth.
more. Probably
Yeah.
like 90% of
Yeah.
like the
The
net
wealth of the
worth
country.
of fucking people in fucking the colonies.
Yeah, but the difference in weapons wasn't.
But what
as
I'm saying
vast
is,
as what we have
what I'm
now.
saying is, if you wanted to compare that to
Or
today,
arms.
you would have say like first of all, why would you even want that? Because you're talking about all the billionaires in today's world in the U.S. whatever in the U.S. economy.
Well, we want what?
Why would they want to overthrow the government at all if they're there? If literally, like the other guy said, if they're there to protect their interests, like the U.S. government literally bails out billionaires. Why would they ever?
No, but
wanna
I'm just
overthrow
what
US
I'm
government?
saying is like, as a citizen, can I use an argument
But
saying, can I own what the military has? Like, can I have what the military has or our government has?
No, he's right.
so I
he's
can
right.
defend myself because I can't. I'm unmatched against the government if I don't have what they have.
It's like
I don't think that would hold up in a court of law.
you don't think so?
No, I just think
absolutely
it's
not.
I just
Like
think
the
it's
right to own like an AR-15 or something like that? You're
No,
saying
no,
it would hold up in
I-
a court of law?
yeah, a tank.
Literally,
Like I
obviously
don't
not.
think
Like,
that would hold up.
There's literally laws put in place so that you can't own an automatic assault rifle, whatever stuff like
But
that.
those are
No,
state laws.
Yeah, those are by state. Some states you can own as many firearms as you want, right?
Alex Jones, Texas, shout out, plug.
Alex Jones.
I,
What was that guy?
I
Wasn't there a
sleep
guy who
very
had like
comfortably.
1,000?
But then wouldn't that be
Firearms
saying that like a
just
law
laid out?
any state laws like laws in New York that prevent having crazy ass guns? Wouldn't that mean that they're unconstitutional and that they should be like basically
That
thrown
is
out?
true. I don't know what that's the other argument. Like
Yeah.
saying it's unconstitutional to take my weapon away if our government has it, in case they do try to take over or whatever anyone thinks
Look.
is gonna happen.
I mean, there's so
What could
many
happen?
different aspects to it. The first aspect being you're back in the 1700s where like literally how many different kind of firearms can you have? Like it's not you're at the bare minimum. Like there is nothing worse than a fucking musket except a bow and arrow. And it's like a bow and arrow you could probably in the 1700s you could probably have a bow and arrow and not have to worry about the Second Amendment, but like you're not bringing down the fucking redcoats with a bow and arrow unless, you use guerrilla warfare. So like nowadays because of technology, the military's advanced so much that like can the Second Amendment actually keep up with these technological advances and go with Dave's argument and be like, I can have anything the military can have just to keep up with their abilities?
What about 3D printers? You could print your own fucking some sweet ass
Well,
guns.
yeah, people
that's
do it all the
probably
time.
it's
So
definitely
like
illegal.
should that be legal? Obviously it's legal in states where it's legal, but like
Should you be able to
going
make
with
your own weapons? You're saying like
yeah,
make your own-
essentially like if you
I mean I in the words of the the thing. I guess
Ultimately,
you
it's
could.
like it's a antiquated.
Well, that's just why we need
It's
to
an outdated fucking rule. It's an outdated.
take the amendment
That amendment doesn't really make sense.
and change it. That's what you do.
Yeah, no,
with
you
amendments.
absolutely
You
amend
have to
the amendment. That's
Like
what you
they,
have to
you just
do.
have to keep updating these things. Only
So-
every decade, so that people know what the fuck they mean.
So, Dave, I know the answer to this, I think, for you, but blunt question.
Yeah.
Should civilians, be allowed to own any weapon they want?
One they want.
Any one. Whether
Any-
it be a pistol, an AR-15. I mean, you can own a rocket launcher as far as I know, right?
A schma.
In Texas.
Small
An
RPG.
RPG.
Um,
How
No,
about
I would
Spartan
definitely say there
lasers?
needs to be limits and restrictions, and
I mean, how about this? How about as simple?
I mean, I get the idea that if you want an assault rifle, like, and you like guns, that's your hobby, you like to have them, you like to own them, that's perfectly fine. But like,
what about a rocket launcher?
but I mean, like, yeah, if I like rocket launchers, like,
You should be allowed to have one.
should you?
If you have enough space in Texas to shoot a rocket
But
launcher,
when do you get to the point where you're like,
And not
well,
commit a
sorry,
crime?
you can't have one. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Just like I can't own a tank.
Yeah, but like,
you can't own an assault rifle.
how about something as simple as
There have to be
I
restrictions.
want a driver's license, I have to pass a written test and a driving test. How about if I want to own a fucking $3,000 gun that can mass murder people, how about I go through some training, a written exam and like a, firing
a background check.
test and a
Universal background check.
What's wrong with that?
I don't get.
Who's
I don't
trying to
get,
get these weapons
if
and are
you're-
fucking loonies?
If you really want the weapon, then I think it's okay if you take like an extra time to get it. Like
Yeah.
I don't see the problem with that.
our country probably spends millions of dollars a year to make sure that citizens can safely drive a car.
Yeah.
A car can kill
You
people,
gotta take a
but
test.
we're not
you gotta
just
take the
giving it
driver's
out
test,
to
you have
whoever we want.
practice.
Well,
Like my
Granted, it's
grandma.
not hard, but like still.
No,
Shout
not
out to
even
my
what I was thinking.
grandma. She has a shotgun. She just bought it from Dick's.
do you have a driver's
She's
license?
never used it. She doesn't know how to use it. She
But
just
she
has
has
it.
But like, if someone came into her house and she had to kill that guy, could she do it?
Probably not.
No, probably.
Could she load the gun? Could she fire
No,
the
she
gun?
does not know how.
Would she look down the muzzle of the
She
barrel?
could hold it to somebody and pretend like she could kill them.
My brother has actually fired it at me, like with
Dry.
no
But
But it
ammo.
was a
Yeah.
blank.
He
Yeah,
clicked it
He was-
though,
he was
which is
firing
very scary.
blanks.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
I was like, I guess it's my time. This is it.
This is how it goes.
got me
Could you
cornered.
imagine that's just how it happens? Like
Just-
Matthew Rubenstein,
He just-
25.
He just stains me throughout her room.
Triplet brother kills other brother.
Accidental
Thought-
gun.
Where's the
Thought
third one?
Gun was empty.
Did he already kill the third?
Anyway, how long have we gone for?
We're at
Couple?
like an hour and a half now.
Really?
Yeah, we're at approximately 3,281 seconds.
Anyway, I thought that was an interesting topic to
Wait.
try to
isn't that
decipher.
less than an hour?
I'm doing the math.
Wait, how many
Yeah,
minutes?
it's 54 minutes. Does that make sense? 54 minutes? No, we've
I
been
I
feel
feel
doing
like
it
we've been
longer.
on for like
So this is
2
not.
hours.
These are not seconds. I don't know what this is doing it in. I'm sorry. I'm new to this
Let
program,
me
but
see.
I just thought about that because I looked at Dave's math before for an hour and 6 minutes, and that was how long it would take up to fill the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
I was
yeah?
like, that was an hour and 6 minutes, and that's 3,900.
Jesus.
No, I think we've been on for.
I think it's close to
2
2
hours.
Yeah, yeah, it's got to be more than 2.
No, we started after 11. I think
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I said let's start at 11.
Oh, okay.
we started at like 10:58 or 11 o'clock.
11,
We're going
11.
on 2 hours soon.
Right. Yeah.
And for those of you that have tuned in for the entire length, we appreciate your support. Follow us on Instagram. Dave, what is it? What's the look?
What's the look?
What's the look podcast on Instagram? We'll probably have a YouTube channel up soon. Other social media, so just look for us. Dave made the design. It's copyrighted. Don't take it. And I don't know. We'll see you later, guys.